Welcome to a late night stream. Gonna have a lot of fun tonight. It is my 40th birthday, which is absolutely surreal. And I'm starting late enough that it won't be my birthday anymore in about 50 minutes, but we're gonna pretend like it still is. It's the night of. And I thought I would celebrate by hanging out with you guys. And I had a big response to announcing this today, and it looks like there's a nice crowd here. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. Especially, again, after 11, real late. I want to spend some time with my family today, so I wanted to, so I had to start pretty late tonight, but I appreciate everybody popping in, showing up. Thanks a lot for being here. I've got some cool things planned tonight. After a while, we're gonna make this a call-in show, and I'm gonna chat with you guys. In fact, it didn't even occur to me to put headphones on because I don't usually do that when I'm by myself. So hopefully we don't have. I might actually go ahead and hook that up and change my setup here. Now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, this is horribly unprofessional. Apologies, guys, but I want to make sure that this ends up making sense. So let me go ahead and get headphones rigged up here. Anyway, so I'm going to just chat with you guys for a bit in the regular YouTube chat, and then in, 15, 20 minutes, I'll start taking calls like an old school radio show. There's still radio shows that do the call-in thing, but it's not as prominent, as prevalent in YouTube shows, live shows like this, but I'm a little old-fashioned, and I like some of the old media things, so I always thought if I ever had a much larger audience, that's what I would turn the Captain Logan Show into. It would just turn into a regular call-in show all the time, which is basically what we do anyway. It's just I'm answering, text questions all the time. Just got a 200 MYR. I'm not sure what currency that is, but it turns into $45 super chat from Thomas Lowe. Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate the birthday present. You didn't have to do that. That's amazing. I think that's gonna call for a double gong, don't you think? Yeah, double gong. Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate that. He just says, happy birthday, Captain Logan. Live long and prosper. I appreciate when the super chats are heftier that it puts it in a different color. It's like bright pink. I saw that, and immediately I was like, oh, man, that's going to be a hefty super chat right at the beginning. Man, that was so nice of you. Thanks a ton. Really appreciate it. I didn't pop on expecting presents or anything. I just wanted to hang out with you guys, but I sure appreciate it. Thanks a ton. I'm also going to show you guys some of the cool stuff that I got for my birthday from my family and friends. Had a really great birthday party the other night. My wife threw for me. She wasn't able to keep it a secret, so I ended up inviting a lot of the people that came to it, which was really funny. And I felt, I don't know, I didn't want to look like self-indulgent, so I felt like I had to reach out to everybody and say, I'm not planning my own birthday party. I didn't want to look like a little kid, having like a little kid birthday party. Hope you guys can hear me okay. It just looks like my levels are not quite right. I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. are having all kinds of technical problems right away. Is this does this sound right to everybody? I'm gonna check my my sounds here in the computer real quick. Just having all kinds of problems right away. Let me check this microphone real quick. It just doesn't look right. Sometimes the levels just like, yeah, why is it so low? Sometimes the levels just randomly change on me for some reason. So I gotta pop this up. Now I'm gonna clip the tops real bad. Now I gotta drop myself. Inside baseball stuff. Now I gotta drop my gain on the actual Yeti itself. Now we should be good. I'm glad I went and checked on that. But yeah, I had Brandon and Chris and Adam and Vince all over. We had a really fun time. We played a little Jackbox. Jason and I played some songs with our ukulele and cajon. I haven't even started drinking yet, and which I'm going to do here in a little bit. But we played some They Might Be Giant songs, which was really fun. Jason unveiled a new song that he just wrote a couple weeks ago that is wonderful, that I'm really hoping we do for you guys sometime in the not too distant future. I hope that he's confident and willing pretty soon to do that, because it's really clever, and I think you guys will really appreciate it. It's about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and it's really funny, really clever, and you'd probably think it was a Team BG song if you didn't know, but yeah, it's great. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna drink some wine. Really, one of the only alcoholic beverages I can still have with the histamine condition I have, which I've told some of you guys about, and I have to be really careful with alcohol because it tends to exacerbate the histamine thing. I don't want to get into all of that again, but like by itself, it's kind of an issue. So if it's compounded with anything else that's kind of a histamine creator, I end up with just really weird side effects. Sometimes it's stomach, but sometimes it's just like I'll go into weird like sneezing fits. All kinds of weird things can happen. It ends up being like allergies. So I avoid beer now. I avoid most alcoholic beverages. So I can do vodka sometimes with like cranberry juice, and I can do wine, and that's about it now. But the nice thing is I can drink a decent amount of wine, so I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to just drink wine all through the evening, and we'll see if I'm even coherent by the end of it. I'll probably have 2 or 3 glasses. Super Billy, $2 super chat. Happy birthday, man. Here's to 40 more years. In all caps, really appreciate it, man. Yeah, I hope I make it 40 more years. Honestly, my goal still, and I'm hoping with modern science and with just trying to take care of myself and exercise a lot and eat well, that I can make my ultimate mortality goal, which is to see the year 2099, to see what Marvel does in that year, if it just becomes the status quo of 2099. I don't know if we'll even have comics still by 2099, and my odds of making it that long are not so good, because that's well past the age of 100, of course. I was born in 1984, so I would be like 115 years old, which, according to the animated series The Tick, is about the age of the Terror. So yeah, basically by that point, I would just be riding around in my spider tank, terrorizing people like the Terror. So maybe you don't want to see me be 115 years old. That's a surreal thing about getting older and being a father, is the ages. And I don't mean to be morbid, but you guys know me. I overthink things. I think about this kind of stuff sometimes. It's interesting to me, even though it's kind of morbid, just the years that my children are likely to reach that I'm not. Now, I had kids relatively young, so it's not going to be that much of a discrepancy, at least with Jason. I was 26, I think, when Sarah and I had our first child. But the further you go, the later years and eras your children are going to experience that you sadly probably are not, unless modern science develops to the point, modern medical science to the point where you get to be like a head in a jar and you go around on little spindly legs like Mr. Freeze in the new Batman adventures into Batman Beyond. But at that point, I don't even know if I'd want to still be alive. Do you want to live life that way? I guess if maybe you could plug yourself into like a virtual reality or a Matrix or something, and just live, in in a different kind of reality. Like maybe that would be okay. But yeah, 2099, that's my ultimate goal. I don't see it happening, of course, but I would love that. Lots of people chatting in the comments. I'm just going to read some of these before I show you guys some of my cool birthday presents, if you don't mind me indulging. If you don't mind indulging me with that. Dan Schneider, $5 super chat. Thanks, man. He says, you need to let a vampire bite you so you can do this show forever. We won't judge you. Appreciate it. Well, the nice thing is, most of my stuff I do at nighttime, so at least I don't have to worry about the sun, while I'm shooting. But yeah, I don't think I would want to be a vampire, unless you could be the like Buffy and Angel kind of vampire where you could cheat and get away with just drinking like pig's blood or something, where you don't actually have to hurt other people. That always seemed like a kind of an easy loophole to me. But, it's like, we really crave human blood, but we can subsist on animal blood. So I guess the only reason that we're horribly sadistic and we still murder human beings is because we have no soul. So why the hell not? I guess that's why. Makira, $4.99 super chat. Just a lot of birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys. I debated about doing a stream like this because I was like, do I really want to make a big deal out of my birthday and be like, hey everybody, it's my birthday. It's so important. Show up and hang out with me on my birthday. But I was just thinking about what I really want to do. And I don't want to be mushy or whatever. And I hope this doesn't come off like false, I don't know, like appreciation for the audience or whatever. Like, obviously I truly appreciate and really enjoy hanging out with you guys and doing this, but this is what I really wanted to do at the end of the day. And honestly, I'm so addicted to streaming these days that like I want to stream on an almost everyday basis, and I've been doing that lately, which has been, by the way, real quick, kind of a boon to the channel, which I wasn't really expecting. I always worry about oversaturating things, and I guess lately I've just picked maybe some of the right kinds of topics, because we've had pretty decent positive, not huge or anything, but pretty decent positive subscriber growth for the first time in a long time. We've been kind of playing to the same audience for years and years, and we've got a wonderful, small but dedicated audience. I have not minded doing that, of course, but we're slowly growing again, and we're bringing in some younger people again here and there, which is really cool. We've got a couple of new subscribers that have been commenting quite a bit, which is exciting. And it's just been really fun, kind of like opening my mind and trying to think of different kinds of things that would be fun to stream that I haven't done yet. And trying to get outside of my comfort zone a little bit, in doing, streams about like shows and things that you guys really care about, but I kind of missed the boat on. So we did that recently with Ben 10, which was really fun. And I'm totally open to doing more things like that. But shorts have been helping a lot too. And those have just been really fun to make. There's a really easy feature now on the phone that I can do in just a couple of minutes. You just go into a stream and you find a cool 1 minute section, and you come up with a title for it. Maybe you put text in it, and I don't edit it. It's just a minute clip out of a show, and that's been, I think I might have mentioned this in another stream somewhere, but that has increased the view counts lately by like 9 or 10,000 a month, which I wasn't really expecting. I was just doing those because I thought it was a neat feature, and I thought it might kind of help grow the audience a little bit. But honestly, I'm only bringing this up because I haven't really thought about like growth in a long time. I haven't had goals beyond just keep this as fresh and interesting and engaging for you guys and for me as much as possible. And now all of a sudden, I'm thinking about, and obviously you got to always find that balance between, battle strategy and making it fun and doing things you really want to do. But, I'm able to think a little bit about strategy again, which is fun, honestly. And so anyway, any new subscribers or folks that haven't been with us in a long time, but came back after some of the things I've been doing lately, really appreciate you guys. Thanks a bunch for helping to keep this thing going. When you're 15 years into a thing like this, it can be difficult to figure out how to keep it fresh and engaging, and you don't want it to grow stale. But I want to keep it going as long as I can. So 15 years. It's crazy to think that I started this when I was in my late 20s, and I'm already 40 now. I used to make the joke, like, I still remember the night I came up with Superhero Rewind. I don't know if I've ever told this. There's not really a story here so much as just it was one of those kind of like Doc Brown, epiphany, like thing hits you. Like I didn't fall onto a toilet or anything like Doc Brown and Back to the Future, but it's that kind of flash where I was just one night I was trying to think of ideas for a YouTube series that might catch on, because I was already starting to do the YouTube thing a little bit with a silly channel I did at one time with a stuffed monkey. I was doing kind of a kids thing, and I was doing this blog for a website called Geekvolution that was, a lot of you guys know about this already, but that was a social network for geeks, and I was editing their blog, and we started doing videos and podcasts for that, which is how this channel started in the first place. And so I started trying to think of, just different cool, geeky, like regular series I could do. And with the Silly Monkey thing, I was doing a Star Trek series for a while that was the monkey reviewing Star Trek episodes. And after a while, I started thinking, what if I did something like a little bit more serious, but was still kind of fun and tongue-in-cheek, in that it would be reviewing superhero movies. This feels so quaint now because there's so much in the way of this kind of thing now with video essays, but at the time it was kind of novel, and I was like, what if I made a show that was taking all of the literary analysis that I learned to do in college, and I applied that to something as seemingly superficial and kind of turn your brain off as superhero movies. And that's how the whole thing happened. And I thought of that late at night one night, just going to bed, and I wrote I wrote the first one. The first episode was just some notes, and then I kind of riffed my way through it, and then they were fully scripted after that for the longest time. But anyway, that's how the whole thing started, and it's still really vivid in my mind. And 15 years later, obviously, this whole thing has evolved, and it's very different now. But at least format-wise, because we're live and we do really lengthy things now, and it's very raw. But the core of it, my personality is pretty much the same. I have changed as a person. Don't get me wrong. But I think my attitude, my interest in pop culture and in storytelling is kind of remained the same through a lot of this. But anyway, I'm getting all analytical and introspective again, which is what I do. But all that to say, it's just surreal how long it's been, and I made the joke for the longest time, I'll finish, X series, or finish reviewing, X TV show or comic series or whatever when I'm in my 40s. And here I am. Some of those things I finished, and some of them I didn't. But anyway, it's just kind of wild to think, okay, let me finish reading these super chats. Mikura says, birthdays, a celebration of getting farther from the starting line or closer to the finish. Yeah, that's profound. I guess that's like a glass half empty, glass half full sort of question, right? Like, what is it you're really celebrating? Are you celebrating the fact that like your life is nearer to being over, and like you're looking forward to that because life is like a difficult race, and as much as we might not want to ever die or be afraid of death, at some point you're going to be again, this is kind of morbid, but in a weird way, like maybe like ready for it to be over or something. I don't know if I'll ever feel that way. It's hard to say. I think I want to think of it as more of hopefully a celebration of getting older, wiser, a little smarter, a little bit more sure of yourself, and it's just about self-improvement. My hope is that the older I get, the better of a person I am, and I don't know if that's true, but that's the goal. That's what you hope to do. I've also kind of always thought of, just humorously, I've always kind of thought of birthdays as a celebration of not having died. Look at me, I made it this far. Isn't that exciting? And if you ever have, obviously, like a near death experience, or if you beat, I don't know, if you beat cancer, like I did, but like it's not a big deal. I never had to go through any of the side effects or anything, but I didn't go through chemotherapy or any of that stuff, but if you ever have a scare like that, it is kind of a bigger deal as you get older. Oh wow, I made it this far. This big milestone, 40. I think the thing I'm most preoccupied by is just that I am full on, honest to God, middle-aged now. There were 7 or 8 years where I felt like it might be premature to say that. Should I call myself middle-aged? I might be at more like a third of my life, and that's still possible, but not likely, right? So now I'm much closer to the halfway point, probably. Is it like Picard says in Star Trek Generations, there are more days behind than ahead? At my age, it's hard to say. You like these days, 70 is not super old. Like lots of folks are still even working at 70, and especially if nobody was sick and you weren't expecting it, it's still a shock when somebody dies at 70. I mean, my grandfather was in his mid 70s when he passed away, and nobody saw it coming, and it was a big deal. So, I don't have that thing where, oh no, I'm getting older, like I'm getting more afraid of death, or it's embarrassing, I don't want to talk about it, that sort of thing. I'm kind of more curious about it than anything. Like, as I get older, what am I going to be like the older I get? And the movie I'm making is somewhat about that, and I'm playing myself at various ages and kind of imagining what I'll be like in a humorous way, certainly, but what I'll be like when I get older. And we're doing a big shoot for that this weekend, which is why I'm taking the week off from regular streams. Thomas Ledbetter, $5 super chat. Happy birthday, Cap. Thank you. Really appreciate it. What's your favorite isolated one-issue comic story? Mine is What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. That's a really good one. I have been asked this question a couple of times before. The thing I typically go to, and this is maybe a little bit of a cheat because it's long enough, it kind of falls into the graphic novel category before one shot. But my go-to answer for this is Silver Surfer Parable by Stan Lee and Mobius, which I have talked about on the channel before. Isolated, and I mean, there are certainly like standalone issues in the middle of story arcs or long runs that like technically are part of that story, but we kind of take a detour for a minute. So I've always said, while this is a real hit and miss run, the date night issue of Tom King's Batman is one of my favorite single issues of anything, especially for things that are just a little bit more modern, more recent. And then I've always loved the annual, it's an early 90s, I think, Action Comics annual, I think, but I can't remember what number it is, where Superman becomes president. That's like an Elseworlds thing, because of course Superman wasn't born here. He's an immigrant from Krypton, so he couldn't actually be president of the United States. And I don't think the issue even deals with that at all. It's just that he gets to be president. They just make it kind of a weird conceit. They just don't even talk about it. But that issue, for whatever reason, kind of struck a chord with me when I was a kid. And I've always loved it. But those are the first things that come to me. And there's probably lots of things I should be bringing up. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. Did I gong that last one? I think I did. I'll do another one just for good measure. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. If you are at a Comic-Con in Florida, let us know. Yeah, all of you Floridian Geekvolutionaries. I don't know how many of them there are, Chewbacca's Lover. Unless he considers himself multiple people. He's speaking in the plural. Let us know. Never been to a con before due to prices. Sure, and cons certainly these days are a lot pricier. He says, but I mean, depending on how big the con is, certainly, but would go just to meet you. Oh, thanks, man. That would make it worth it. Well, that means a lot. Yeah, that's me out of place. I appreciate you saying that. No, I have talked about this before, but I've considered for a long time doing some kind of in-person get-together for our subscribers, and it's hard to say where to do it where the most people would show up. I'd love to be able to get at least a dozen people together, and that might not sound like a lot, but our following is relatively pretty small, and the subscriber count, of course, is much larger than the view counts, just not to put too fine a point on it, which makes a lot of sense. We've done it for 15 years. How many people are going to stick around? How many new folks are you getting? If we could get anywhere between a dozen and 20 to all show up to a function, I would feel pretty good about that. I'd be pretty proud about that. I would not do a full-on convention for us. That wouldn't make sense. We're too small. But to do something at a con, maybe rent out a small room at a hotel or space at a convention would be a thing that I would like to do, and I've considered for a long time. We'd have to do a lot of planning and just see. What we would probably do is get people to commit to it. That's probably the right way to do it, right? We would need to have sign-ups and make sure that enough folks were going to actually show up to do the thing. Another idea I've had, though, is to rent out a screen at a movie theater and do a live, like set up a PA system and do a live commentary at a theater with an audience of folks that watch us. That's also a thing I've always wanted to do. But yeah, thanks for saying that. I don't go to conventions as a guest just because, again, I'm small enough. Like, nobody's ever asked me. I don't want to try to, sneak myself into a thing and, just pretend like I'm a bigger deal than I am or something. It would be weird, right, to, call up a convention and be like, hey, I've got a following on YouTube. You should make me a guest. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. If somebody asked me, I would certainly consider it. It's been a long time. I've been a panelist at a convention, multiple years running, but I can't remember if I've done it at more than one. I used to regularly do a science fiction literature convention in town, and they used to ask me to be a panelist there. So that's the closest I've done to that. And then I've had my own table at conventions, just promoting the channel and selling, merchandise. When we were doing Midwestern panels, I did that. And things like that, but I haven't done that in a long time. I'll get through these super chats, and then I'm going to open up the phone, and I'm going to make some of you guys co-hosts this evening for a few minutes at a time. Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. You did video essays before they were cool. Yeah, that is true, which is one of the many reasons I haven't been as eager to continue them, just because it feels more a dime a dozen, and I feel like I'm kind of mixed up in the shuffle of a lot of other people that are doing the same thing I am, and that's not to say that there's not room for and a reason to have lots and lots of reviews of the same thing from lots of different perspectives, certainly, but at the same time, I did so many of them that once that got really saturated, I kind of looked at it and was like, I don't know, this was more fun to me when it was fresher and I was, one of the only people doing it. But I'm getting the itch. I'm getting the anchoring to do it again. And we hit a super chat goal a couple of weeks ago to finally do another Script to Rewind, and that's going to be Logan. And thanks to everybody that donated in that stream for me to do that. I was kind of gauging the interest in it and trying to motivate myself, really. And so now I have to do it, and it doesn't feel like a chore. It's just now I've got the motivation really to hunker down and do that. And my goal is to get that out by the end of September. I'm not promising that with the movie shoot and everything, but that's what I'm working toward. I have a weekend already planned out to do just that. So hopefully that's all it will take is that weekend. But I am going to write a story analysis again for Logan. And that is all the super chats for right now. Let me see what other folks are saying real quick before I tell you what, I'm already half an hour and I said 20 minutes, but you guys know me. I get a thought worm and I go down a rabbit hole and then I mix my metaphors. Avatar Desto been loving the recent shorts. Thanks a lot, man. Like again, in all honesty, they're very, very easy to put together, and it's fun to go through and see where the really like interesting minutes are, where we get enough said in just 60 seconds. It's sometimes crazy to me just how much material ends up happening sometimes within a 60-second block. And that's not me tooting my own horn. Very often it's Austin or it's Jason or one of our other co-hosts that gets a lot said in 60 seconds because I'm not very good at being brief. And you guys have noticed that a lot of, at least a good number of those, are not just me talking for 60 seconds. I've been putting in a lot of stuff from our other hosts that give us really great content, and I appreciate you guys. Seeking God's Will is one of our new subscribers that's been commenting a lot and is here right now. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Silent Night, YouTube has been pushing out smaller channels in the past year or so. I've been seeing that, and I want to give them a lot of credit for finally doing that. I keep in my feed seeing channels with hardly any subscribers or like very few views, but are curated for, or the algorithm is hitting things that are related to what I've watched, of course, or what I do. And so, like recently I subscribed to a channel. I don't know if I can find it real quick because I like it. I would plug this. He's not posting real regularly, but I like his stuff when he puts it out. He's got an amazing collection. Guy collects like retro action figures and comics, and he's got a killer collection. It's honestly much more impressive than mine, but he's in London, and maybe I said that already. But he's got like all the old Ghostbusters figures, and he's big into like old wrestling figures. He's got a big Ninja Turtles collection, but he's really neat, and I think his channel is called Comics and Retro. I want to say that's what it is. Look him up. He just did a video where he's going around to stores in his area and just showing off really cool pop culture stores, which is, by the way, a thing I've been thinking about doing lately, when possibly, and I've always got all these project ideas, I don't know if I'll get to it, but possibly when we're finished shooting the movie, I might start trying to get together a series of, and these would be, of course, pre-recorded videos again, not live things. But I've been thinking about doing kind of a follow-up to Midwestern Panels that would be about pop culture, retro and retro and just geeky stores in the Kansas City area where I live. So I wouldn't be traveling out of state. There's so much cool stuff here that I would just love to show you guys and kind of put a spotlight on some of these stores for a good, 20-minute, half an hour video, and basically do, or maybe I'd be more thorough than that because it's me and it would be closer to an hour, but instead of making one movie, it would be a series of like mini documentaries about the tentative title is The Geekiest Places in Kansas City. And there's a couple of places that I've already talked to about possibly doing a stream on location from, and I'm sure those stores would love the publicity and would be willing. I mean, I don't want to speak for them. I don't want to be presumptuous, but I would be surprised if they wouldn't be interested in this idea and would want to be involved. And one of them is a comic shop that I recently found by where Jason has his dance, called Nostalgia. I think that's the name of that store. And I showed off some comics I got there recently. I love that place, and those guys are really personable. And they were. I was real quick because I really like that store to say, hey, I'd love to stream here sometime. And they were like, absolutely, come in here and have at it. That would be great. I'd love to do a piece on them. They're brand new. And there's also, and I talked about this in one or two other places, but I've also started taking my kids to, get this, a card store that is exclusively Pokemon. It's just Pokemon cards. And I don't know anything about Pokemon really. I'm not into that game, but I'm really impressed with their business and their model and how well they're doing, being barely a year old. And I want to do a piece on that place just because their business model is amazing, and I want people to see that and just see how really well put together and pretty their store is, and I'm also just impressed with their customer service and how well they cater both to the collector that is spending hundreds and sometimes more on really rare, expensive Pokemon cards, and also catering to the kid with $10 in his wallet that wants to make a Pokemon deck, because they're great at both. And I brought two of my kids in there now with a budget of 20 or $25, and they have helped them put together complete decks. And it's really, really neat to see a place like that that actually cares about bringing kids into the hobby and making it affordable for them. So I really want to make a piece, or do a piece on them. And there's lots of other places around here that I could do shows about. And I'm hoping I can get that together at some point. Avatar Desto, I think I might have already read a comment from him, but I'll read this too. Been following the channel for years, but just recently started watching the live streams again. Keep up the good work, Cap. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. I was worried when I started this model that it just wouldn't fly, that I wouldn't be able to get away with this unedited, really raw kind of model. And honestly, as much of a perfectionist as I guess at this point I have to say I used to be, I was really concerned that what I was doing was just real lazy, and it became a matter of either go to this model and talk about lots of things like I like to do, and I don't mean to just make it quantity. I try to make the quality as good as I can going live like this. It was either going to be that, or it was going to be a video a week maybe. And we do so many different kinds of things here, and people like the variety of output that I didn't feel right about that. And it also just inside baseball again, just cards on the table. It wasn't it didn't monetarily make it as much sense either. So I decided to try this, and it's exciting that it's worked out as well as it has. But just with how busy I am with regular life stuff and having 6 kids, it's very difficult to put in the time it takes. I don't mean to make excuses, but just to put in the time it takes. And also, and it's not even just about time. It's about being able to really focus on a script and doing that regularly, and also doing anything else on top of it. So like, it's not just about the time you have, it's about when you have it and how much focus you can put on a thing. Because I can't really work on that kind of thing until my kids are in bed, and that gives me maybe an hour or two in an evening, and maybe. And sometimes I'm kind of dead tired by that point too. It's kind of easier to do this when I'm tired than it is like sitting at a computer, taking notes or writing a thing. So anyway, it means a lot to me that you guys have made it possible for me to keep going with this model. And sometimes I feel the need to apologize to folks that miss what I used to do and aren't watching these or all the commentaries because it's just not their bag. And I completely understand that. There's channels that I used to watch that pivoted to a different format that's just not for me, and it can be kind of disappointing. But it also is really understandable. Life changes, and I didn't know if I would be doing this long. So it's a big deal to me that I've been able to evolve it in such a way where it still is viable to continue it. Let me see what else folks are saying. Connor, I started taking dance lessons last February. Yeah, he's talked about that. It's been a great experience, and I'd highly recommend it to anybody looking for a new hobby. I guess he's bringing that up maybe because Jason is in dance, and I mentioned that. Thomas Lowe, have you ever worked at a comic book store before, Cap? Yeah, I have. I used to work at a store. After the first couple of years I was doing this channel, I did that for 9 or 10 months. And I really enjoyed it while I was there. Thomas Lowe, you should have patented the term video essay, Cap. Yeah, I don't know if I would have even, I don't think I ever called them that. I did coin the term commentary podcast, and a few different channels used that for a while. And then that went away, and now we all just call them commentaries. Silent Night, your takes are a lot more intelligent and academic than most other video essayists. It's really funny you say that, because I feel like, I don't know, at one time, I was a little bit pretentious about it, in all honesty, and I kind of prided myself on being scholarly, and I've really lightened up on that. I try to be thoughtful. Like, I think I like that word better now than scholarly. It's like, I don't want to put myself above people and be like, I went to college. I know things. I'm an intellectual. I just want to be thoughtful. I just want to talk about things on the level that I understand them, and try to look as deeply into a thing as possible, but not to pretend like I know any more than I actually know. It's not about using the big words, it's just about mining the material and seeing what's really there, and seeing what you can find from your own unique perspective that maybe wasn't even originally intended, but that you can find, of course, plenty of evidence for, and find the truth in it. And that's the job as I see it. And then just point out really interesting, fun things that you find too. Silent Night, that sounds like a great idea. Probably talking about the documentary series I was talking about. Cool. Yeah, I don't know how much interest there would be in that. But the Midwestern panels did really well. And so I think we could get away with a series like that. And I don't know, if they do a couple thousand views a piece, I'd feel really good about that. We're not going to make any money on those, but that's not the point. That's not the reason to do it. We didn't make any money on Midwestern panels either. We just raised enough to make the thing. And I have a very art is its own reward kind of mentality when it comes to that sort of work. Same thing with the movie. We're not gonna put that on disc and sell it. We're not gonna sell it digitally. I'm not even gonna monetize it when I post it. And there's a couple things that could get a copyright flagged anyway, but I'm not even gonna monetize it. I'm not bragging when I say that. I just want people to be able to see it. And we raised some money from some of you guys for that. And that was amazing. And that's all I really cared about, was that we could get enough money to actually make the thing happen. This is Quist, is a name I don't recognize. Hi there. Welcome. Ever going to revisit Batman Beyond? I'm sure at some point I'll do at least a blind commentary stream on it. I don't think I've done that yet. Okay, I should have started taking calls already. We're 40 minutes in, but we've got so many comments pouring in. And also, I just keep rambling about things. But I want to make sure and do that soon before everybody leaves. So let me go ahead and show you guys some of the cool things I got for my birthday, just real briefly. First of all, Brandon and then I'll open the phones up. I'll put the phone number on the screen, and I'll take myself off of Do Not Disturb, and then you guys will be able to give me a call. And if you can't get in, try again after the next caller, and I'll try to take at least 4 or 5 if there's interest. The view counts right now, I don't mean to keep talking about that, but just keep popping up and down. And for a minute I was like, oh no, I've lost half the audience. The call thing's not going to work. And now we're back up to a decent amount again. So I don't know. I'll blow through this real fast. Right after this super chat, Side-Scrolling Hero 16, $5 super chat. I still remember finding Geekvolution from an old Browncoat Eric video chat with Captain Logan, or Captain Logan chat. Been a viewer ever since. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, that was 1,000,000 years ago. And Eric and I did lots of videos together on his channel before he was regularly coming over to mine. Although I guess we kind of popped back and forth a lot. I haven't talked to Eric in a long time, but I hope he's doing great. He's moved away. I mean, he's not out of state or anything, but far enough that it's not real convenient for either of us to drive to each other. And honestly, we've fallen a little bit out of touch, but I hope he's doing all right. And I should just reach out to him and say hello. Anyway, so Brandon has been doing a lot of 3D printing lately, and he made this very strange Worf Buddha. I don't know how well you can see that. It looks like it's getting kind of washed out there, but yeah, Worf from Star Trek. It's a Buddha, and he's got his comm badge, but he's dressed like a Buddha, like a Buddha. And I'm gonna paint this. He primed it so that I can paint it, and I don't know what color scheme I'm gonna go with yet, but that will probably live on my desk. It's very strange, and then people will assume that I'm Buddhist or that I'm like a religious Star Trek fan. Okay, and then my son Mikey. I'm actually not going to remember some of these gifts, who exactly they came from. But my son Mikey gave me this really cool Sonic mug that I've had my eye on for a long time, and I've almost bought this myself a couple of times. But this is one of those mugs that you can't put in the microwave or the dishwasher. So it's not super practical, but it looks cool. And then Vince gave me this great Star Trek t-shirt that is Space Invaders, but it's Star Trek. And I'm excited to wear that on stream sometime in the not too distant future. Then my wife, or maybe this was technically from Freddie, gave me new PS4 controllers because the batteries are nearly shot on mine and I can barely play that system right now. So I'm excited to finally get my PS4 out again and start playing that. And maybe I'll stream something on it soon. My mom got me the 4K of The Karate Kid, which was super cool of her. And she was getting kind of sentimental about the 40th thing, because this was the movie that was #1 at the box office the week I was born. And that's why she gave me the 4K for this. I also just happen to love this movie, which I don't even know if she knows. But I had this movie, but this is a great new release. And I'm excited to see if it's got new special features on it. So thanks, Mom. She also got me I don't have it down here, but she also got me the vinyl soundtrack for Ghostbusters. So thanks, Mom, which was the #1 song the day I was born, and that's why she got me that. So really thoughtful, cool gifts from my mom. And then Selena was so super cute when she brought this up to me. So I've got twin girls. They're 3 years old, Selena and Cassandra. And I forget which of these gifts Cassandra brought me. I just can't remember. But Selena was so excited to have me open this. And this is an amazing Batman hoodie. I just adore the design on this. It's so pretty. And I'm excited to wear this. It's really cool. It's crazy to say this, but Walmart, of all places, has just been tearing it up with hoodies lately. I actually have bought a couple. Just really good designs from there. And then my... Again, I can't remember which kid I opened this from, but this was my wife's idea because I pointed this out to her once when we were at a store. But so I own all of these movies already, but this is a really condensed, convenient way to pull these out. And I don't know if I'm going to sell some of my old copies of these or if I'm just going to have this in addition. But this is and it's an odd selection of movies, but this is a curious 18 film collection of animated Batman movies. It's all animated, and some of them are, of course, are terrible, and some of them are great, but this has got Killing Joke on it, and it's got Dark Knight Returns, and it's got Gotham by Gaslight, and Batman Harley Quinn is here, and Batman Ninja is here, Return of the Caped Crusaders, but not Two-Face. This might have come out before that was... No, 19. I think that was already out by then. So I'm not sure why that's not on this collection. Both Superman Batman movies are here. But I just really like the white background and the art on this box. It's really pretty. And so it was really cool of my wife to think of that. And then she also she also gave me an envelope with spending money to go to a casino, which was a thing that I told her a few days before my birthday, I had wished I'd asked for. Because it's the thing I thought of last year, where I was like, what would I ask for my 40th birthday? And I was like, I kind of want to go to a casino and play roulette, because I've never done it. And I grew up some in casinos. I've talked about this before, but my dad and my stepmom loved going. And they used to bring me and my siblings with them, and there were really cool things for kids to do back in the 90s at some of these casinos. We used to go to Tunica, and some of my fondest memories are arcades and just cool like kid play places in Tunica. And I just liked the atmosphere walking through a casino, because obviously you couldn't stand there and watch games being played, but sometimes even kids would have to walk through the casino in order to get to the restaurant or the arcade in the back or whatever it was. And I never, developed a penchant for gambling. It was never like an addiction, or I wanted to, throw money away, or I was looking for a quick way to get a lot of cash. I just liked the environment. And the game I always liked playing virtually most was roulette. And so I want to go to a physical table and finally actually put money down and try that out. And if I stream long enough tonight, the video game I was thinking about playing was a casino game, so that I could practice my roulette, because I'm going on Friday to spend some money at a casino, and I'll tell you guys how I do. Hopefully I'm not done in 20 minutes, but I'm very excited about that. I'll get to that other super chat in a minute. Thanks a lot. And the last thing I want to show you is a gift that I got from my father-in-law. I haven't seen my dad yet. We have, by the way, my dad and I are going to see each other Saturday night. Excuse me. His birthday is, I think, is on Saturday. Is it Friday or Saturday? But the 17th. His birthday is 5 days after mine, and I am 40 this year, and Dad is 60 this year. He and I are exactly 20 years apart, and I really wanted to do something together for our birthdays. And so he's going to come out, and we're going to go to dinner, and I'm really excited about that. I kind of wish I was going with him to the casino, but I don't think he's up for walking around and standing that long yet. Because for those of you that don't know, my dad had his leg partially amputated earlier in the year, and he has his prosthetic leg now, and he's off of his walker, and he's walking around fine. I don't know how long he can be standing, and actually I haven't seen him since, I think I've seen him maybe once since he got out of the hospital, maybe. So I'm very excited to see him and see how he's doing. But anyway, my father-in-law got me the Army Painter Speed Paint Mega Kit, which is just boss, and I can't wait to crack this open and start working on my miniatures with this. But for those of you that don't know, I've gotten into this new hobby of miniature painting over the last 3 or 4 years with the Power Rangers miniatures game, Heroes of the Grid, and I'm really behind. I have tons of figures to paint, and I've just been using regular hobby paints for a long time, and I've always been curious about these miniature paints, these paints that are made specifically for miniatures. And I'm told by a lot of painters, it changes your whole world, your whole process. It's much better than just regular hobby paints, and I've done fine with that stuff, but I'm hoping that it really does improve the work a little bit. I mean, obviously, you have to do a good job with it. You're not going to magically be a good painter because you have the right tools, but better tools help, I am sure. So he asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and that was the thing I asked for. It was really, really cool of him to get that. So thanks to Sarah's dad for that. Tobin Belpons, 999 Super Chat. Appreciate you, man. Wow. The gap between Marvel Mania 1 and 2 was about 4 years. Wow. It was. And now it's been about 4 since 2020, which is also nuts, because we speculated about what we would do After that, we were like, we're going to have to wait quite a while for more material to come out. And then Marvel just oversaturated it like crazy, and the quality went into the floor. Will you give the people what they want, Cap? He says, and would you commentate over Disney Plus pilots at least? So the short answer is no. Marvel Mania will almost certainly never come back at this point. And the reason is very simple and very practical, and that is the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project. There's no reason to do Marvel Mania commentaries on movies that we're already going to be doing Superhero Rewind commentaries on. And I realized that when Eric and I originally did that show, it was completely unplanned and it was very silly, and we, did have some insightful commentary, but a lot of it was also just messing around while watching movies. And when DJ and I did the second round of it, it was much closer to a standard commentary. We did some silly things with it, like with Venom, which nobody seemed to like, but we did a very crazy, silly thing with that where I did a Venom voice. But by and large, we handled that differently, where I just felt the need to prepare for those more. I did watch a lot of those movies ahead of time. And so at this point, we're kind of already doing that with, I'm doing more prep for the Rewind commentaries that I did for that show, but it's too close to more or less the same thing. So as far as the TV side of it goes, the most I would do is probably, I just don't think there would be enough interest in doing like serious discussions on all of the pilots, or even, I guess I could kind of see it if you did, but it wouldn't be Marvel Mania this way. Marvel Mania was like a completionist piece, so it would be weird to be like, we're going to do all of just the pilots of those shows. I think folks that like those shows or have seen them all would get kind of frustrated with that, because a lot of those, or at least some of those, I've not watched all of. So I am willing, maybe if there's enough interest, to go back and do blind commentaries on some of those shows and do the marathon thing. But I'm not going to promise completion with it, and I don't want to just do the pilots. At least at first glance, at face value, I don't love that idea personally. All due respect, but I'm not saying I'll never do anything on any of the Disney Plus things. And then he also puts in another $4.99 super chat. This is just a suggestion. I appreciate your suggestion. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, and thank you for endless entertainment through most of my adult life. And that is a surreal comment. Hey, I'm going to open the phones. I'm already at almost an hour. I need to stop giving time expectations for anything. And I'm going to need just a minute to change my audio settings here. And hopefully we don't have any technical issues getting the callers in here. But I'm going to go ahead and activate this now. And hopefully I can talk to some of you guys. So, oh, hold on. I have accidentally deleted... or not deleted, but X'd out my stream here. I appreciate all the super chatters tonight. Thanks for the support, the birthday presents, however you want to look at it. Again, I wasn't expecting that. You guys are wonderful, and I really, really appreciate you. I say that a lot, but it's because I mean it. Apologies, I'm just trying to get this back open again. One second. What is going on here? I don't know why this browser is running sluggish, or it's YouTube or something. I don't know. Somebody, before we started, said that their birthday was also today, and I can't say the name of the viewer because it was in some kind of kanji, and so I can't read it because I don't know how to read that script, and I don't even know enough to know what country it was from. I don't know if it was Japanese or Chinese or Korean. I don't know what it was, but Happy birthday to you as well. Side-scrolling Hero 16. If the stream VOD saved, I wouldn't want you to get doxxed. No, don't worry about it. So I'm not displaying my personal phone number. The way this works is it's a... I've not explained this. I've done this a couple of times in the past, but this is through Google Voice, and the way it works is you can get a randomized phone number assigned to you that is connected to your phone, but that doesn't have your real phone number. And eventually, if you don't use it very much, you lose it, and then you just go back and you get a new phone number. So nobody worry. There's no way that this can be, as far as I know, there's no way that this can be traced directly to me. So if you call this number, you will be able to get me for as long as I keep it open. And then, so right now I have it open for receiving calls, and I will put up the number in a second, and I'll start receiving calls. And then I'll put it back to Do Not Disturb, and even if you have that phone number, it will go directly to a voicemail that is not linked to my phone, that nobody will be able to get their hands on. So nobody worry. We're not doing anything dangerous here. I'm not going to get doxxed. There's nothing like that's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and officially open this up now for calls. We'll see who calls in. I don't have a mod tonight. I don't have any way to screen these calls, so I'm just going to ask that I'm sure this audience is going to be great, but I'm just going to ask that everybody is respectful, keep it PG-13. I want to say don't troll me, but, you know, there's no promising that. So I will be as nice as I can, but if I do get anybody that calls that decides to just be, you know, a crazy person in whatever way, I reserve the right to hang up on folks. So nobody take that personally. And if we're just having a cool conversation, obviously, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to hang up on you because I disagree with you. I will hang up on you because you were swearing at me or speaking exclusively in Pig Latin. I would probably hang up on you for that after a certain amount of time. Anyway, okay, so the phone number to call tonight is 913-717-6152, and we just need to see how long it takes for a call to come in. We're just right at the 1 hour mark. I will probably do this for about half an hour, 45 minutes, just depending on how well it goes. And then, just depending on how I'm feeling, I will probably stick around and maybe play video games for a little while, or just chat some more with the chat. I'm going to keep it, I'm gonna kind of play it by ear. I keep it open. No, don't worry about the dog. The doxing is not a problem. It's not going to happen. SS Jerry's birthday is August 21st. Cool. Okay, we've got a call. Google says it's a suspected spam caller. So hopefully not. I'm going to go ahead and answer the call. Here we go.
Call from.
Hey, this is Case.
Case or Jace? I guess we'll find out.
Call from.
Oh, 1 second. I think I accidentally put that first person on hold. You may have to call back. Apologies there.
Hopefully not.
Oh, I can hear myself.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. Who am I talking to?
This would be Braden Atkinson.
Braden Atkinson, how you doing, man?
Great.
It's always exciting.
It's so surreal, like knowing that you're like how much time has passed, because I've watched since very early. I don't know how early.
Yeah.
So this is really surreal. Like,
no, and you watched forever, man. I appreciate it.
Middle school and high school.
Yeah, I don't know. Surreal is the word of the night, I guess. That's as crazy for me as it is for you guys. By the way, just the idea that I've been, you know, part of some of you guys' life for that long. It's kind of crazy. But thanks for calling, Braden. He's been, guys. If you haven't seen him in the chat, this guy leaves comments all the time. He's been with us for years, and he's on the live chats all the time. And thanks for the support, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. Should I hang up now?
Oh, you just want to call and say hi, or do you have a question or a
Should I
topic?
keep
Or
going? I wasn't sure because I don't know if there's other people behind me or what.
no, that's all right. We can talk for a couple of minutes at least.
Okay.
If you have a particular idea of something you want to talk about, you totally can, or
You
you could just hang on the line
you should
while
look
I
at the show
answer more
Ruby at
chatting
some point.
questions.
You
What
should
was
look up the show Ruby at some point. RWBY. I think I've mentioned it a couple times because
Yeah.
it's a show with a lot of really good ideas in it. What makes it interesting is a show with a lot of really good ideas, but it's held back because it has amateur writers and a lot of things around the show.
Oh,
So
great.
it recently
Okay.
got Zaslav because they bought out Rooster Teeth, who were the bakers of the show.
How long did it
So
go?
like since 2013 or 2012.
The only thing I know about that is that it got crossover movies with Justice League or just DC characters.
No, it was a comic, I think.
No, it had a movie. It had an animated.
Really, it did.
It had
Okay,
it had a multi-part animated movie. It was like
that's bizarre.
they
To
put
me,
out
but...
at least two because I saw them at Target.
Oh wow. Okay, I've never heard of those, but I'm just gonna ignore those because they're non-canon. Basically, and they
Yeah, I
probably
didn't
don't
know
get
what it
characters
was.
at all because it's something. It's one of those shows where it's building on lots of things like fairy tales and stuff. It basically takes a bunch of fairy tales and modernizes them and
Okay.
combines them all together. Is the easiest way I can explain it. What it's doing, because I don't want to put in any spoilers because there's really big spoilers that will change how you look at all the events of the whole show.
Sure. Okay, so
Multiple times.
is it
does
just
this.
anime inspired or is it an honest to
It's
god
anime inspired. It's a cartoon, so you have to cover it at some point.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm willing to. But yeah, it started last year. This two-part thing, uh, with Justice League started last year. It's called Justice League Cross RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen,
Okay,
and they did
Yeah.
they did two of them.
that's interesting.
So I'll actually have to buy that for the collection because it counts.
Yeah, some
Which means there will
that's
be a
bizarre
rewind
because it
on
probably
whatever
won't get
that
the-
is.
You should probably look at the base material before you look at that because,
I
like,
will.
yeah. So, but
Well, thanks for the recommendation.
yeah,
Not like a rousing recommend. When
I
you're
would
like,
pretty strongly recommend it. It's a show
Okay.
that I've like I've thought about the show.
I just love
for,
the
like,
warning of the
past 2 or
writing's
3
not
years.
great.
Yeah, the writing of the actual show is not great, but the world building and stuff and the ideas behind it are really good.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it does a lot of cross-character parallels, but doesn't make them directly in the show. But, like, if you think about it, it makes sense to do them.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows where, like, on paper, it's probably the best show of the last 10 years.
Okay. Interesting. Well, check it out.
Yeah. Bye.
Well, yeah. Thanks for calling in, man. Really appreciate it. I always get giddy when I do these, and I've only done this like I don't know, maybe 3 times, but it's so much fun just having you guys on and chat with you. Well, let's get another caller in. Again, I don't have anybody screening these that's got one just at the ready, but I know somebody else tried to call in, and I accidentally put them on hold because I forgot how exactly the system works. So I pressed the wrong button. So apologies to the first caller, Case or Jace or whatever his name was, but he should call back in because I accidentally dropped him. But yeah, 913-717-6152. This is so much fun. Okay, don't hit the hold and accept button.
This is Case.
Oh, there he is. There's Case. We got him.
Press.
Hello,
Hey, this is Cap.
Case. You're on with
Hey,
Captain
man.
Logan. How are you, man?
Well, happy birthday, first
Thanks.
and foremost. I am KHCDYM93 in the chats. But first and foremost, once again, happy birthday. And I wanted to thank you for the 15 years of content. I've been watching, obviously, from high school to college. Now I'm married. And I
Wow,
just wanted to let you know that my mother-in-law just actually passed away from cancer. And
Really
about
sorry
a
to
month
hear
ago. And, Well, I mean, I appreciate that, but your content actually helped me get through that. Just being able to like sit there and veg out with my father-in-law, and because he's a big Trek guy, so I've actually turned him on to your channel, some of the older
Wow.
stuff that you and Sarah used to do, and it actually helped us really connect. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Well, that means so much. Yeah, that's the um, that's the absolute highest kind of compliment. I'm glad we could do that for you. Where do you live? Where are you from?
Man, I'm from Middle Tennessee.
Cool. I
I'm from
thought
the
maybe I
smallest
was
county
placing
in
that
Tennessee.
accent.
Yeah, well, most of the time, unless it's super late, I honestly don't have an accent for the most part. My mom trained me not to have it when I was a kid, but I've got a 2 year old and a 1 month old, so I'm a little exhausted right now.
Apologies, real quick, to other callers that are trying to get in. I'll have to decline you until I get off with Case here, but we'll try to make sure and uh, bring in at least 3 or 4 more callers. Case, I really
Right on.
appreciate that story, man. How long have you been married?
Uh, so my wife and I got married about 4 years ago,
Oh,
during the height of COVID.
congratulations.
Appreciate that. And like I said, I've been a regular viewer for the most part for the past 15 years. I used to watch you and Eric do the After Dark specials, and really what got me into it was you and Manos and Duke and King 1919 or whatever his name was, and basically you guys just doing the 30-part chats.
Yeah, all the way back. That feels like ancient history now. It's been so long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of
Um,
those guys I haven't
I did
talked
have a
to in a really long time. I hope everybody's doing
yeah.
great. I've lost touch with some of those guys.
Well, I mean, like I said, I still go back from time to time and archive. We'll go through the archives and watch some of those old streams. But I had a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day, you and Vince briefly touched on the terrible Justin Hartley Aquaman pilot. I wanted to see what your actual thoughts were now on that.
Well, I did a scripted rewind on it, what, 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you've not seen that, and it's been since then since I saw it, so my thoughts are very crystallized in that. But in all honesty, especially for, I mean, you know, uh, you got to take it for what it is. Like my standards are different for a CW show from that period, but I thought it was okay. I thought it had potential. There was a lot of really weird choices in their initial like world building and characterization and stuff. I thought he was really good. I thought he carried that pilot.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, in the latter seasons of Smallville, I think he's the only reason that it held up as well as it did. That's just my personal opinion. But
Sure.
um, anyways, I'll let you guys get to the rest of the calls. Once again, I appreciate you and happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
All
Have a
right, have
great
a good one.
night.
You too. Bye.
I Yeah, there were definitely a lot of talented actors in those later seasons of Smallville, but some of them I think elevated the material maybe better than others. I love Sam Witwer, as bizarre as the Doomsday thing was. I love Laura Vandervoort. But yeah, that Aquaman pilot is really interesting. And it's certainly a lot better than the Wonder Woman pilot, both of which, if memory serves, had Adrienne Palacki. I think she's in that pilot. Let's go ahead and answer this call.
Call from.
Uh, Malik.
To accept, press 1. To
I
send a
think he said
voicemail, press 2.
Malik. Is this... Well, I didn't get to it in time. Apologies.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To
Well,
send.
we'll see who this ends up being. Hi there, can you hear me?
Hello? Oh, yeah.
Hi, who am I talking to?
Chewbacca's lover.
Hi, Chewbacca's Lover. How are you, man?
Good.
Good to see you again. Chewbacca's Lover is one of our... one second, sorry. I'm getting so many calls, I'm having to decline them until I get finished with this one. But yeah, Chewbacca's Lover is one of our Patreon producers for Superhero Rewind, and I have talked to him a number of times. What can I do for you this evening, Chewbacca's Lover?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to wish you a happy 40th birthday.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I've been watching you since 2011.
Yeah, you've been with us forever.
Introduced you through Eric's channel, like a lot of us.
Like a lot of people, yeah, that's right.
So watch I probably watched your Marvel Manias and Batmanias like probably 4 or 6 times at this point.
Yeah, that's wild. I have had a few people tell me that they've gone back to those multiple times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't understand that, but I really appreciate it. No, I guess some of my favorite YouTube things I have watched multiple times.
Yeah.
And even off the cuff things like that. Like, there's definitely some Red Letter Media things I've seen more than once.
Yeah. Also excited for the movie.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I actually was working on a trailer today, and I'm hoping to get that out in the next few weeks. I say few because I've got to get music on it from my composer who wants to do original stuff specifically for that trailer. So when I get it made, I'm going to have to wait on him. So I don't know exactly when it's going to come out. But hopefully you guys will get to see a little bit of footage here in the next couple of months. Maybe less.
Sure. Also, about that, the meetup that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That if, like, you're, like, obviously it'd be cool if you were doing stuff in Florida, but if you were having a meetup just anywhere in the country, I'd be willing to fly out to go to it.
I hope you could. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I don't know that we would do it in Florida. I would probably try to pick someplace a little bit more centralized on the coast, just to make it easier for everybody to get to us.
Yeah, well, as long as it's in the United States, I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be in the States, certainly.
Yeah, keep keep up on that, because that's something I'd be very interested in, and I'm sure a lot of us would.
Yeah, I will put my. It may be a year or two after I get past this giant project, but I will at some point in the not too distant future put out my feelers and see how much interest there is in it. And like I said, if I can get enough names committed to doing it that would sign up ahead of time, I'd figure out a place and do it. Again, probably a larger convention. Or not a large convention necessarily, but a convention that was not just us. Just because it would be a cool place for all of us to hang out and do something together as opposed to just awkwardly standing around in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Which is probably not what anybody wants. Although then I could get t-shirts made that said, I stood around awkwardly in a hotel room with Captain Logan. It's a lot of words for a t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate all your support for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, guys like you are the reason that I'm still doing this in a crazy house with 6. Well, it's guys like you, and it's my wife who keeps, for some reason, encouraging me to do this craziness.
Yeah, that's great. Seems very supportive.
She is. Yeah, she's just wonderful. And she gave me an awesome birthday. And she gave me a pie because I don't eat cake anymore.
Yeah.
For my birthday, and put I had to blow out a candle on a pie. And then for everybody else at the party, she made cakes that looked like pies. And everybody thought they were pies, but they turned out to be cake.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Well, Chewbacca's lover, I'm going to have to let you go and take another call, but I appreciate you, man. And we will talk real soon. We'll have another hangout on the Rewind Discord.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
All right, see you later, man. Bye-bye.
Call from.
This is Richard calling in.
To accept, press 1. To
Hey, we
send a
got Richard.
voicemail.
Richard.
Hi.
Hi there. You're on with Captain
Hi.
Logan.
Hi. It's an honor to be on. Thank you for accepting my call. This is so cool.
No problem. You are now the co-host of the program for the next 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to co-host with you. It's
While
been a
I
dream of
decline
mine.
all the other incoming calls and disappoint them, and they're all gonna hate you. You will
Oh, well,
be
that's
none of
okay.
their friend. You will not be their friend.
I can live with that. I can live with that.
It's worth it. That's an
yes,
honor.
it is.
It's an honor to
my
me
honor.
that you want to talk to me so much that you're willing to be hated by all of the other subscribers.
Well, talking to you has been kind of a childhood dream of mine,
Oh
or I
man,
should. Yes, I've
that's
been.
so strange, and I can't get my mind around it. But it's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you.
No problem. I've been a fan of yours, like the first caller since high school. I watched
Wow.
your Captain Logan reviews, and they were really great with just analyzing the films, the duality, the in-depth discussions on what these films represent, and then also your other content too. It was great, and I've been sticking around with you for so long, so it's kind of inspired me. You're kind of an inspiration as to why I started YouTube 20 years ago almost, is
Yeah.
just to be
Wow.
able to have that kind of level of commitment to all the content that you put out. So it's worth the hatred right now.
What kind of
to be like,
what kind of stuff are you making?
so I was all over the place. I recently got my first channel back. So that's good news to me. But I'm a reviewer.
What do you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but what do you mean by
No,
getting
no,
it
no, no.
back? What happened?
So a long time ago, oh my goodness, I used to do a lot of reactions, but also I started gauging out and just started doing reviews. And this was back in the early days where YouTube would cut down on pretty much any licensing of footage, music, what have you. And it
Don't I
turns
know
out
it?
my channel was a huge red flag. So they suspended me. I had a friend who was able to help me negotiate it getting returned,
Wow.
and then they just took it away the next day, all before my birthday. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So
Yeah, tragic.
I started a second channel, but all of the people who followed me, they helped me get me back to where I kind of was. And then recently I have it back, and it's like, oh my goodness. It's like I get to see my watch history. My subscribers are still there from back in the day. It's a great gift.
That's a roller coaster, man.
Yes. It's like a time capsule, you know. You lose something and then it just shows up like something in the attic, and you're just taken back to what made this a treasure for you.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I don't understand how some of these reaction channels keep their stuff up and keep themselves from being copyright struck. I don't get, and I don't get how video essayists do it either, because I've had no luck with it.
Yeah, no, I used to, like I said, I used to be a reactionist. I started doing them when they were big, like about 7-8 years ago, but then I stopped because I'm like, no, I want to do some more serious stuff. I want to show what I'm passionate about. And recently I do character breakdowns of fictional characters. I do reviews of movies, shows, essays, just giving my thoughts on general things. And it's kind of subconsciously structured on how you would do your Captain Logan reviews, because to me that was just a beautiful way of structuring a video on something that you love. So that's kind of the whole reason I still do YouTube today.
Wow,
and
thanks,
I start
man.
to grow myself. No, thank you.
I'm about
happy
to finally
birthday
do
to
that
you.
format again, and I hope I can remember how to do it.
Well, I'll be following you every step of the way, and like I always have been, and I'm just so happy that you're happy, and you're doing good, and it's just so cool to see you making content again. So it's amazing. You're a great person. Also, you're a great father. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, because I do remember the videos you used to make with your son, how you introduced him to the tick a long time ago.
Yeah.
and I could tell it's like, oh my goodness, this is perfect.
I went back to a couple. Well, thanks again for all the compliments, man. I I went back and looked at a little bit of footage of a couple of those father and son videos from just a couple of years ago, and it's just nuts to see how much Jason has changed. Like, when you're a dad, you don't notice it because it happens so incrementally and you see them every day. And in my mind, when Jason was 10 or 11, he looks and sounds and is at the same maturity level to me as he is now. And then I go back and I'm like, oh, he was a little kid.
Well, I think it comes from great parenting and also just being there to help guide Jason through, because that's parenting 101. You have to be there. You have to guide your children, and children today are developing to be very mature adults at an early age, and
That's
I
right.
think that really comes from the parental figure in their life who can be there to help them and make them into a great person that they know they're capable of being.
Well, and I think some kids are growing up too fast because they have to. You know, where there's
Yes.
a lot of parents that that unfortunately aren't there for their kids like they ought to be, and I feel like we live in a world that kind of forgets about kids even more than the world that I was growing up in, and it's so easy for kids to just get on computers and phones and find out anything they want to find out about, and it's weird how in some ways you never grow up in that way, and in other ways you never have a childhood that way.
No, yeah, it's today's generation and future generations are going to be vastly different from how we are, and we come from a generation where we had our own fantasies and we had our own way of escaping reality and just creating our own adventures on paper with action figures, with analog tapes and video games. But now children are just developing with the technology that is there for them, and I think that's probably the reason why such kids have better imaginations now than we did when we were around that age, because the technology just makes it so much easier for them to develop.
Yeah, that's a really positive way to look at it. I have a hard time not being a little bit cynical about it. Like, I think it can be a wonderful thing. I also think that parental guidance is as important or more so than it ever has been. That like you need to guide your kids through all of that, because it's a minefield if you just go it alone. And I worry that
It is.
that some kids don't develop their imaginations properly in being so inundated with content that it's like somebody else is doing all of that imagining for them. But you're right; it doesn't have to be that way.
No, no, it doesn't. I, as a kid, I was, I was diagnosed with autism, so my imagination at an early age was very much vast, but I had very limited technology to help me get that going. So I do kind of envy future generations where now they just have the ability to develop it in so many different ways. It's kind of overwhelming, but again, all that
Yeah,
matters is you're there for your children, and they end up teaching you more about
that's
modern
right.
technology than you can.
No, that's right. That is a really positive way to look at. I think it can be too overwhelming, and I think it can be kind of scary. Plushie DX has more toys. I think toys are essential. I think imaginative play is as important uh, as books and music for children. I think they've got to um, develop those things on their own and not be you know too inundated with uh, material that tells them exactly how to think and what to look at. Like, video games are good. I don't think that's all they should be doing. You know what I mean?
No, no. Video games, in my opinion, have always been capable of providing only a limited amount of hours with how children can develop. But if they play with action figures, or if they write stories, or if they just go online, then they'll find that there is no time. Like, they can be on there for a day and not even know it.
No, that's exactly right. I need to talk to more people like you, because you're looking at the technological boon that we're in right now in a more positive way than I sometimes find myself looking at it. It honestly freaks me out sometimes. But there's, I don't know. It's ironic, right? That it's like the more material is there, the more like knowledge is available, the more kids need somebody to guide them through it. You know,
Yes.
you really don't want to just drop them in the boonies.
No, you don't. Well, YouTube isn't my day job. It almost was, but then it got taken away just before I was starting to maybe make it a career. But yes, I know. So I'm a children's educator, and I work with helping children using technological exhibits that can help them develop their imagination with math equations, with writing, with exploring, or using their mind to create whatever they want with tools that are able to be what they see in their mind.
I didn't realize this was your expertise. I thought it was just something you felt strongly about and had a passion about. No, I'm talking to an expert on the subject. Okay.
No. Yes. No. Well, it's something that I've noticed. You pay attention to these things because recently I've started getting back into collecting figurines and also diving deep into comics. But I really noticed that, okay, the internet really is the best place to help children get a handle on what they can do. But as long as they understand that it's going to be an overwhelming ocean, but if you take it one step at a time, then they're just going to navigate it in ways that we didn't at first. Yeah. So it all comes from observation, really.
There's pros and cons to taking that for granted, for that to always being there for you. And I just think it's important that kids in everybody are unplugging from the Matrix. There has to be a separation between that and the real world. They're not the same thing.
No, they're not. That, for me, it was always unplugging from hours upon hours from the TV, and then action figures, reading books, and just finding other ways to start building things in my mind and having adventure. So again, I think kids nowadays just have it so much better, but I think that's a good thing, because then they're going to go on to do great things.
This is a conversation I could have with you all night, and could get into some places that I don't even know how comfortable I am discussing on the channel. But I would love to chat with you again. I said 5 minutes. We've been talking for 13. I've got to move on to another caller. But thanks a lot for calling. If we do another show like this, call again. I'd love to chat with you at some point. About some of these things on our own. What is the name of your channel? I should have asked you that earlier.
Oh, no, thank you. So my current channel right now is Saber Comics. I'm doing, like I said,
Saber,
reviews.
Saber or R-E?
Saber Comics. The S in Saber is capital. The C in Comics is capital. You'll know it when you see it. There's my profile icon. I need to change it, but it is me as a red Time Force Ranger doing.
Oh, cool.
That's me.
Oh, how big of a Ranger guy are you?
Oh man, I could go. I could talk to you hours about that. I'm a big Ranger guy. I've actually met Jason David Frank when he was alive. I met Wes, the Time Force Ranger, Austin St. John. So I am a big Ranger enthusiast.
Yeah, it sounds like you and I are on about the same playing field. Have you been to Morphicon?
No, I've always wanted to go, but I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and unfortunately, I've only been able to meet the Ranger actors if they come here.
Sure.
But I do. I always keep up with the series, and I'm just so happy that newer fans, new kids get to experience it, and the show's legacy can continue. But yeah, that's another conversation I know we could
No,
talk
absolutely.
about for hours. But
well, I hope we get to
will let
talk
you
again
go.
at some point.
Yes.
Hit me up. We'll chat. Anyway, I'm going to bring on another caller, but thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for having me. Happy birthday, and
Thank
I
you.
will talk to you again soon.
That was fascinating. I found it difficult not to just let him talk for a bit because I agreed with quite a bit of what he was saying, and I was also struggling to see some of the current like social media and technology as positive of a thing for kids as he was, at least in the way it typically is utilized. And God, I could have talked to him for forever. Anyway, let's take at least one more, if not a couple more calls here.
Call from.
My name is SS Jerry.
Hey, SS Jerry is
To
calling.
accept, press 1.
I don't. SS Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes, hi. Is this
there.
Captain Logan?
You're on with Captain Logan. Have you called in before? I can't remember.
I tried to get in, but I didn't get to talk to you.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this time. SS Jerry has also been with us forever and comments on a lot of live shows. And thanks so much for the support over the years, man. And thanks for staying up so late to get a call.
Yes, of course. Right. Well, I'm from California, so it's really not that late for me. So not a problem.
You cheater. I always feel like people 2 hours behind me, they're just cheating.
Am I coming through okay? Because I'm using some headsets I never use.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, I don't know if you wanted to choose a topic, or I could try to entertain you with something that happened recently to me.
No, that's fine. Yeah, tell us a story, Jerry.
Okay, well, recently, July 20th, there was a convention here in LA, and I got to meet David Hayter, which I don't know if that name rings a bell.
Yeah, it does.
This is the voice actor for Solid Snake, and also the writer
and
of
he
the
wrote
X-Men
X2.
movie. Right, okay.
Right?
Well, I met him. That experience was great. Yes, he did write that, and also Watchmen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's right. He
the
did write
movie.
Watchmen. Cool.
Yeah, so that was really enjoyable, that whole conversation and everything. And I just kind of wanted to ask you, like, if you were to meet a writer who helps, adapt a movie like that, like, let's take him, for example. What would you like to ask him, like, relating to the original material, like the novel or what have you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for me would be what are the aspects of, like, when you look at Claremont or any of the other, like, early X-Men writers he might have been looking at, but mostly they're looking at Claremont. What are the aspects of that stuff on the comic page that you weren't allowed to adapt straight, that drove you nuts, that, like, studio notes or director or whoever it is would not let you just straight up pull off the page? Because those scripts are, like, first drafts, they're almost always like that, especially if your screenwriter is a fan of that material in the first place. And those compromises, I would imagine, would drive a writer insane.
Yeah, exactly. And what was interesting too is that there was actually a person who was trying to get the graphic novel signed, and I understand why, but I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, shouldn't you get the movie? I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, that is kind of strange. Is it just because it just feels lamer to have like a Blu-ray box signed as opposed to a comic or graphic novel? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you wanted it. And was it Watchmen that they were getting signed?
Yeah.
That's weird. No, that's just straight up weird. He didn't work on that. The only exception I can think of to that is something like when people bring video games to James Rolfe. You know, like a thing that like, angry video game nerd, like a thing that he didn't work on, but that he reviewed. So there's like an association with that as like an artifact that he had on camera. It's like the only kind of exception that I can really make to you didn't work on that. Why are you signing it?
Right. Yeah. Well, anyways, I did record a couple of videos of, well, it was really my fiance, Daisy. Shout out to her. She recorded a video that came out perfect, and I had David sign a book along with all the voice actors of Metal Gear. Like a bunch of them were there, and they signed it, which was like super neat. And yeah, I might upload that to my YouTube channel. As the previous guy said, I also do YouTube. My thing is mainly on Dragon Ball, though, so I'm not sure if that would be okay, because I mean it doesn't really fit in with what Pet Channel is now.
Yeah, sure. No, that's always awkward when it doesn't go with your regular lineup of content, but you really want people to see it. You're like, well, if I put it on some other channel, nobody's going to notice it.
Exactly. And I mean, it's kind of like the guy who wanted the book signed.
It does kind of, like, with me, it's always been easier because I'm such a catch-all channel that, like, I've got my focuses, but anything that kind of falls into geek, I can really get away with posting, which has always been a double-edged sword for me, because if I focused on, you know, one thing this whole time, I probably would have developed a larger base. At the same time, there's all kinds of stuff I want to be able to put up. So it's kind of nice, but if I were you, I would probably do it as an exception and just be like, okay, everybody, here's this extra thing. It's cool. I know it's not what I usually do, but you should look at it. It's cool.
Right. And you know, channels like yours is interesting because you cover a bunch of different content, and your channel was able to grow quite a bit. That's fascinating to me. And because of what you do, I've been, you know, like I've been able to enjoy a bunch of opinions of yours from various different things that are not related. I just wanted to throw that out there because, yeah, I've seen hundreds of hours of your content, and I really appreciate what you do.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, you know, I had a period a couple of years ago, very briefly, where I was trying to make a real push to be just exclusively superhero. And I mean, it lasted 2 weeks. I just couldn't do it. It's like there was just too much else I wanted to talk about. And our audience was, you know, really liked the variety. So thanks for saying that.
Yeah, of course. And I guess that's all I want to bother you today with. I'd love to talk to you again some other time.
Yeah,
so if you ever do
not a
a show
bother
like
at all. I would love to do this call-in thing more often. It's really great to talk to you guys directly like this.
Yes, please do. That'd be amazing.
And not just because people are saying nice things, but you guys bring in really interesting topics, and it's also just nice to, you know, put a voice to the names, you know.
Yeah. Talking to you is really weird. It sounds like I'm just watching a video, but I got to remember.
Well, it's weird talking to you too, because you kind of develop in a weird amorphous way, right? Like an idea in your head of who these people are, and then you talk to them, and folks are nothing like what you imagine. I can't even say exactly what I would have thought you sounded like just based on like comments you're making, just text comments, but oh, that's what SS Jerry sounds like. And now all of a sudden I have a completely different idea of the man.
It's great. Yeah, that's why it's weird. But well, anyways, I guess I'll let you go if you want to go ahead and talk to other people. And I'd like to also congratulate you and wish you a happy birthday, happy 40th. That's awesome. I also agree that what you bring to the table with your kids, and in a way, you're kind of teaching us how to raise our own kids, or like myself, who wants them eventually. I see a lot of quality to the content, even if it's like the father and son videos and stuff like that. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you so much, Cap.
Yeah, thank you, man. I gotta tell you guys, there is something about. I'll take this call in a second. There is something about.
Call from
Side-scrolling hero.
Oh, side-scrolling hero. There he is.
To accept, press 1.
try to say
To
this
send
real
a
quick.
voicemail, press 2.
Side-scrolling hero, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
How's it going, man? Another call just right away while I was in the middle of thought. I'm gonna say this real quick, and then I'll chat with you, man. I was just gonna say there is something about nearly everybody that's called tonight. I think everybody that's called tonight saying that they've watched the channel for years. Some of them since high school. That somehow makes me feel older than 40. Not older than the age of 40, but just it makes me feel older than the fact that it's my 40th birthday. Like I put 40 in the thumbnail, but all of you guys going, you got me through high school. You're helping me figure out how to maybe be a parent someday. I'm like, that makes me feel old. It's wonderful.
No worries.
That makes me feel old. Side-scrolling hero, you have been commenting forever, and it's nice to finally hear your voice. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me. And you bring up the time periods and everything. And I was just curious. And I actually pulled up my YouTube stats. And let me see here. Geek Solution is my second ever liked video on YouTube on my account, whatever.
What was the video? How far back does it make me feel old again?
Oh, no worries. 13 years ago, it was Cap and Vince on Writing Week 5, The Writing Life.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I still occasionally will hear somebody out of the woodwork mention something about that series.
It was great.
I was really proud of that series. And that was right out of college, so all of that stuff was real fresh in my mind right then. And I'm really glad we crystallized it like that. Because I couldn't be quite as articulate about it now, because it's just been so long.
No, it was great. Yeah, definitely. But also want to say too, like a couple videos up to also liked around that time period, August 2nd, 2012. I have a liked Comic Vault, new acquisitions from you guys.
Wow.
So that's how long I've been watching, if not sooner. That's just the first one I liked. Who knows if I've been watching longer or whatever. But long time viewer.
Like sometimes like 2012 just doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, it just flies by. Yeah. Because I graduated in 2014, so it being a decade now, everything just feels so crazy to catch up.
Sure, yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from Arizona.
Cool. That is a state I've not visited yet.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool, super hot, but pretty cool. And if you go to Phoenix, basically, it's pretty chill. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. But
did you grow up there?
No, yeah. I grew up here. Not too much to do, so online a lot. So that's what I'm saying. It was always cool to have a channel like your guys' to watch and everything. But I want to say too, like what I like about your guys' channel is how you sort of hit all my niches, especially growing up, like the comic books, the movies, the commentaries, the writing, all the creative stuff, the Power Rangers stuff, especially. I know I'm the guy that requests the Common Writer stuff all the time.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was you.
Oh yeah. And then again, just gotta say, you gotta check it out, bro. It's amazing.
Yeah, you asked for one just recently.
And then, I'm mainly recommending it because, I think if you talked about it, I think a lot more people will discover it because I think it's something that, if you're a Power Rangers guy, it just I don't know how to explain it, but everyone says, "Oh, I want Power Rangers, but more quote unquote dark, mature, or whatever." But there is something that already exists. It's like that,
Yeah.
But, it's a little bit different, but same sensibilities, same visual syntax, same creators basically. Just more mature storylines, stuff like that.
That is one of those things where the more I see of it, the more I'm like, oh, that's totally my thing. I should watch more of that, and then I forget all about it.
No worries. Yeah. Well, see, what's crazy now that I see is when I was growing up, there's no way to watch it. You have to download some super weird, sketchy stream, a torrent or whatever. But no, now it's 1080p official, on the website. You just look it up, at least for a couple series.
Well, thank God for Shout Factory.
Yeah, exactly. And
you're
they
right,
have
for
the
the
best
longest time
ones on.
you couldn't get that stuff, and I wanted to watch Gaim forever, and there was no way to do it. And Shout Factory still doesn't have that. There are ways to get your hands on that, but they've got a few of those shows.
Yeah, it's great. Specifically, they have Kuga and Ryuki. In my opinion, I'm telling all the viewers now, they have to check that. If they're into Power Rangers, they have to check it out. The fact that it's free, it's 1080p, like it just definitely scratches that itch. You know what I mean? Just like if you watch it, you totally understand. You know what I mean? Like the way like Tokusatsu is like filmed and like the mature storylines, the characters. Oh, it's just so great. And like the fact that it's just like original. You know what I mean? They didn't have to adapt it from anything. It's great. Yeah.
If I do this segment again, I should call it like viewer recommends. Like everybody wants to call and just tell me what I should be watching.
Oh yeah, no worries. Well, I just bring it up because I think if you and Jason watched it, I think it would just definitely blow your guys' minds. You know.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
No,
And
I'm
then
just kidding.
I noticed.
But it is really funny. It's like everybody's calling. It's like this is my opportunity to tell Cap, pay attention to me and
Oh
watch
yeah.
this thing already.
Oh yeah, no worries. It's just I think it's important you talk about it because I think you have a big like audience. So if you talk about it, I think everyone would know how cool it is too. You know. And then I know
that's a
you
good
started
point.
watching anime too recently, like with Dragon Ball Z. So it's just so cool to see how like something I grew up on, you're just now discovering and like you know what I mean, like
You know,
finding
it
out is
seems
cool.
like it seems like that's what a lot of the audience really wants right now, and I'm open to it. I'm really willing to do it, which is go back and experience our childhoods that you missed because you were in college working at a mortuary, getting dead bodies in the middle of the night, while we
hmm
were at home watching Ben 10.
Yeah, I watched that stream the other day. It was so cool seeing you like watch it and everything. It was
It's
so cool.
cool. And Mikey
hmm
has gotten really into that show. Mikey's my 6 year
Oh,
old,
hell yeah.
and
hmm
he's loving it. And Jason bought an Xbox One recently and has Game Pass, and they have a Ben 10 game on Game Pass.
Jeez,
And so Mikey's been
nice.
playing the crap out of that. It's this kind of
hmm
open world beat 'em up, and he's loving it.
Jeez, I lament now because like when I was a kid, like you know being like old and everything, like I remember watching Power Rangers, like bring it back, and like it was hard to watch it because if the VHS is out, like oh you're out of luck or whatever, you know what I mean? But now
Yeah.
it's just like the game passes, you have like almost any game, like it's all available, like the streaming, like it's all there, like you know what I mean? They just binge episodes back to back, not worry about for the most part, you know,
And isn't it
availability.
crazy how much we take the stuff for granted now? Like you really
No,
get
for
used
real,
to
yeah.
it. Like occasionally,
hmm
I have to kind of try to get myself some perspective and go. I'm watching Star Trek: The Next Generation like with headphones sitting in
Yeah.
a park right now. There was a time where I
Yeah,
couldn't have
exactly.
fathomed I can just go walk around outside and watch Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so that really brings me up. I started watching DS9 too. Well, when I first started watching you
Heck
guys,
yeah, man.
I wasn't a Star Trek guy, but then my friend got me into it recently. So then, like again, like I'm saying, like it's cool to like you know what I mean, like discover things that the channel's talked about. So now I know you have a bunch of backlog of like DS9 videos I can go back to.
Yeah, yeah. Just branch out. How far in are you?
Uh my friend, he's been like handpicking episodes, but like I in a sense I would say I watched the whole series in the sense that like he showed me like what he believes like the key episodes, like all the
Big
character episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched all Dominion War. Like he pulled up the, you know, like that list I think of like essential and like non-essential and supplementary material. And like we definitely went through all the essential like Dominion War
Oh,
episodes,
cool. So you
but
got the big broad strokes. That's great.
oh,
Okay,
big guy.
so
Oh,
like
mhm.
you and I could talk about then like Wei-Yun and Section
Oh,
31, and
oh,
you know about all that
rest in
stuff. Yeah.
rest in
Wonderful.
peace, Wayne Six. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, rest in
Yeah.
peace. He was my guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not just essential, but like you know, of course I think we delved into a couple of like supplementary stuff too. But like 100%, yeah. Dominion War, the conclusion, and everything. I haven't seen like the pilot or like you know like random stuff like that. I think he skips a lot of first and second season, but because I think he said the Ferengi get a lot more developed, especially from there.
So
But
not to
yeah.
criticize your friend, but I guess I'm going to.
hmm
The one misstep I would say there is you do need to see that pilot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I need to go back because it's also a movie. So like we're thinking about maybe getting together, like checking it out. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. I just think it's a little bit odd to not at least start with the pilot. Most of one you can skip, but I would at least watch at least for the larger overarching narrative, right? So I would start
hmm
with the pilot and then watch the last episode of that season, partly just because it's really damn good and more indicative of
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
rest of the show is. And then
hmm
there's
hmm
a number of two you need, you know, and beyond, but or at least
hmm
I don't know 3, 4, 5 episodes in two, but um yeah, like one particularly with the way the founders are handled, or not the founders,
Oh yeah,
pardon
yeah.
me, sorry,
Ferengi?
I'm not in Trek mode right now.
In words.
But the
Bajoran?
the
Cardassian?
the uh the Bajoran gods,
Oh,
the
the
little aliens,
oh my
yeah.
god. The profits, right?
The profits, yeah.
Mhm.
And how they operate.
Mhm.
It's 1:00 in the morning and I've been drinking wine. I can't think of things.
Oh, no worries. This is fun. Yeah, no worries. I'm happy you took my call. Like I
No,
said,
of
been a big
course.
fan like forever. Yeah. This is crazy to be on the show. I can't believe it, honestly. I'm probably talking super fast because I'm
No,
nervous.
you're fine. This is super fun. If we had a little bit of a larger audience, I'm telling you guys, this is what I would do every day. I would just do a like talk show, have callers tell
Yeah,
me
that's
what
great.
crap I should be watching, and then I would like plan marathons, and that would be the channel. That's what we would do. It'd be
Mhm.
great.
I think there's like two things about it. Like one, I think everyone has like a high opinion of you, so like they want to know like your opinion of things. You know what I mean? And then two, I think they also want to be like validated. If like you say you like something, it's like, oh, like Logan also likes this thing. That means it's good, you know?
Yeah, well, and I gotta tell you, I have, not to get negative about it, I have at
Mhm.
times in my career felt a little bit kind of weird, and sometimes even like slightly bitter about that whole thing, where it's like, you know, don't come to me for validation, because what ends up happening is it's a double-edged sword, because like people feel great
Mhm.
when they like you and they value your opinion, and you tell them that you like a thing they like, but then you can
Mhm.
also really wreck them and gut them
Oh yeah.
when you really dislike a thing that they like. But somebody earlier said a thing,
Dark Knight Rises.
yeah, that was an eye-opening experience for me. But somebody
Mhm.
earlier said a thing that I hadn't really given a lot of thought to, which is it's not just about validation. It's
Mhm.
also about um just like getting to see a person that you uh that you like and value their opinion, look at at one of your favorite things and give their honest thoughts about it.
Mhm.
Like it's not just a validation thing.
Yeah, because like you don't want to like definitely like be disingenuous about how you feel, especially about a review, right?
Yeah, no, of course. But I think there was just a part of me. I'm not articulating this great. I think there was a part of me that was always like, I mean, why is it that important that I look at the thing that you care? I'm kind of getting that now.
Oh, I see. Like you think like they can't stand on their own opinion, like with it. Like they have to have like your opinion to feel happy,
Well, that was always my
like
worry
liking it.
about it with the validation thing. But I think there's this more
Mhm.
kind of positive side of it, which is just I love this thing. Sorry, this is what the guy was talking about earlier. I love this
Mhm.
thing. I don't have a platform. Like people aren't listening to
Oh,
me. It's not just about I need you to be my voice. It's also I want you to get the word out. More people will
interesting. Yeah,
look
like
at it
calling on
if
you to do it. Yeah.
you're
Huh.
talking about it, and I don't know how else to make that happen because I've not developed the audience yet. And that's
Oh,
not
geez. Yeah.
putting me on a pedestal. That's not me saying that those people, if they really worked at it, couldn't also maybe develop an audience for themselves. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the place they're
Mhm.
at right now, they're going, I really want people to look at this. It's great.
Mhm.
And you have the ability to do that for me. That's not validation. There's something more positive there.
Mhm. Yeah. It sounds like it goes deeper. Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Mhm.
It's been wonderful
But
having you on, and we will
Oh
do
yeah.
this
Thanks. Yeah. Sorry, I've been
again.
talking
And
for
you should call in again because this has been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah. No. 100%. Yeah. Good luck at casino. Thanks for having the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'll let you guys know about all the money I lose at the casino.
Oh, real quick. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
planning on doing like the live roulette? You said right
Yeah.
at the tables, or like you do like the I know at in Arizona they have like the automatic machine one sometimes where it's like one like big roulette table in the center and there's like a bunch of machines surround it and like everyone goes off like
Oh wow.
how that one rolls.
I've never been to one like
But
that. No, I really want to go old school and like put my chips on the table.
yeah, that's a way cooler one I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's my
Way
hope.
cool, a better way to do it.
No, I've only
Oh, yeah,
ever
but
done it.
hell yeah, good luck.
I've
Mhm.
only ever done it virtually.
Oh geez, oh yeah, oh we gotta do the live then. Yeah, but yeah, good luck. Good luck with the channel and everything. I've been a long time viewer, of course, so also be watching.
Well, you're great. This is wonderful. Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, stay safe. Have a good
We'll
night.
talk again,
Thank you.
I'm sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I was racking my brain this morning, trying to decide what was the most appropriate thing to do tonight that would be fun for everybody. Because I had some ideas that were like get a little more self-indulgent, where it's like, what do I really want to do? This would be fun for me, but I think it'll be kind of boring for maybe for other people, and I won't have much of a crowd. And I don't know what it was that hit me about doing the call-in show, but I'm so glad I thought of it. It's been really, really fun talking to all of you guys. If anybody, we're already past 1 a.m., and I was going to do some video games and stuff, but we've already been talking for 2 hours. So I think I'm going to have to forego the casino video game thing that I was going to do. But I've got my Genesis controller at the ready. I'm going to play a Super Nintendo game with a Genesis controller. It's 6-button, so it'd work just fine. But I think I might have to stave that off for another time. I shouldn't stay up too late because I have to get up with the kids in the morning. But you know what? I'm going to leave the phone open, and I'll take one more if anybody else wants to call in. Somebody, at least one or two people were trying to call while I was chatting with that last caller. So if anybody else really wants to get in, give me a call. 913-717-6152. I always wanted to do that. And we've got another one. Well, I was like, how am I going to stall? All right, let's see who this ends up being. This is going to be the last call. Here we go.
Call from.
Tobin Belpones.
Oh, there he is.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You're on the air with Captain Logan. How are you this evening?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, what's your time zone?
I live in Texas, Central, I think.
So what time is it there? Because it is 1 a.m. where I am. I'm keeping everybody out. I'm keeping everybody up super late.
Yeah, it's 1 a.m. where I am.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we're in the same time zone. Well, how the heck are you, man? Do you have to get up really early in the morning? Am I going to be responsible for your being late to work and losing your job?
So something trippy just happened. I'm sorry. I was watching your video on stream, and the lag was confusing me so much. I thought I was talking to like a different person, like you had a receiver person.
No, I wish I had that. By the way, real quick, I just want to say thank you to the whole audience for like everybody that's been calling in tonight for not being like weird, creepy weirdos. Because I don't have a moderator and I don't have anybody to check the calls before I take them. So I'm taking my life into my hands, man. And I've only done this a couple of times on the Captain Logan show for a much shorter amount of time than I've done it tonight. And I the first time I did it, I was like, this is a really bad idea. Like, people are going to call and they're going to troll me, and it's going to be horrible. And everybody that's called tonight has been, and I'm not just saying this because people have lavished me with compliments, but the conversation has been wonderful. And I just want to say, you guys are great. And thanks so much for not being weird, creepy weirdos.
Well, I am a weird, creepy weirdo, but I'm choosing to put that aside for this conversation.
Oh, you're hiding it really well. Is it a mask you wear?
Oh, every day, honestly. Yeah. The world does not know the real me.
Okay, so where are you from, sir?
Oh, I'm from Texas. I've lived in Texas.
Oh, you said that. You're from Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Texas? What did you say?
Basically Austin, Texas.
Austin,
I live in a city called Round Rock, right above Austin. We're basically like Austin's hat. But yeah, basically Austin.
I think somebody else called earlier from around that area.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I really wanted to tell you. I have like kind of a question topic, but I also wanted to kind of lead with a little on brand, maybe lengthy preamble.
That's all right. I'm the king of those.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, no, I can't open a live show without 15 minutes of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, first I just wanted to say like how I first found you. It was it's interesting because it really kind of explains why I watch your content and what's so good about your content, I think. So the first video I ever saw of yours was your first Dark Knight Rises review reaction thing. And that is 2012, so I'm 19. And I watched your video, and I was like, boy, hard disagree.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, and so that was my introduction to you. So I just think it says a lot that I watched that video and hard disagree with you, and
And you
still
stuck
to a
around.
degree disagree with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's okay. We can be friends.
No, it's okay. I know you're wrong, but we can definitely be friends.
You can like
No,
sappy,
but
crappy writing that makes no sense. That's fine.
oh, we'll get into that in a second.
Oh God!
actually.
Oh no! Oh no! He's gonna bring this back around. Oh no!
Yeah.
Hey, real quick before you move on, can I say something about that?
Sure thing.
That is one of my only real regrets. On the channel is that I did not keep that video up.
Oh, that's why I can't find it anymore.
Yeah, no, it's gone. And I mean, I haven't saved. I didn't keep the file. Like it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I regret that.
Oh, okay.
I
guess that explains that.
And I don't know if I should draw attention to this, but I mean, it's been what 11 years now. No.
Yeah.
For what 12?
Wait.
12, 13 years now? Was that 20?
Yeah,
that was
actually
2012.
more. Yeah.
So yeah, 12 years.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got really baffling vitriolic responses, and I didn't know what to do with it. And it wasn't that the comments were so negative that I was like, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't deal with like negative comments. It was, I second guessed everything about the review. I was like, well, I can't be right about this,
Yeah.
And I think at the time you couldn't just toggle things unlisted, or I would have done that. And so I just deleted it, and I went back to the theater like 2 or 3 times trying to figure out what I was missing, and I was never able to have a full-on positive experience with that movie. I just kept having the same issues with it, and and finally I decided, okay, well, I feel the way I feel about this. I should have left the review up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to for this to become a review of Dark Knight Rises for the 50th time on the channel.
Problem.
But
now you're giving me PTSD here.
Yeah, I mean, I like that movie just because of like the power of cinema more than writing, and if anything. And that's actually one thing I wanted to bring up was
it's why the Rewind got a 2.5. Like, if that's based just on that script, that is a 1.5 or a 2. But like a lot of that is incredibly well made.
Yes, and that is, I'm a film person first and foremost. Like that is my whole that's my whole bag. More than a comic person, more than a superhero person, more than etc.
Sure.
When I watch a movie and I feel the power of it, that bumps it up a lot. But if I can pivot topics, because this is kind of one of the main thing I wanted to talk to you about. I've been recently rewatching Lost.
Yeah.
With my little sister, and it just got me thinking about that show, and I don't know, just entertainment in general. And one of the reasons I still love Lost is because I don't know, it just introduced me to narrative, like in general, and what works so well about it, and character and development and all that. And I was just wondering, because I am one of the few people I know who accepts that ending, as messy as it is. And I was wondering, are there any like critically lambasted endings you can think of that you defend? Because for the most part, I feel like everyone kind of agrees on what things are crappy endings. Game of Thrones is embarrassing. Dexter is embarrassing. But Lost is one I've always kind of defended, and I still enjoy. I can watch that whole show, and it's not ruined by the ending. Another one for me is
the same thing.
Oh yeah,
with that show, yeah, and I've reviewed that before, but like, I was more indifferent and kind of baffled than anything. I think my issue is the ending with everything that we're stuck with by that, but by the end, by that point in the series, is not the problem with it. It's that it had already lost me with the mythology by that point.
I see.
So it's not specifically the ending, it's just you're waiting for, and I know the main thing. I don't want to get in the weeds with Lost because I know that's not really your question, but
Yeah, well, we'll be here for 2 hours.
no, yeah, exactly. The main thing that everybody complained about, just broadly, of course, is here's all these threads that you didn't resolve. Here's all these mysteries that we wanted the answers to, and you clearly didn't. You have the forethought to already have answers for them, so you just dropped them, or you retconned things. There's a lot of retconning that small retconning that happens throughout that series.
Oh yeah.
The bigger issue for me, though, was just I thought that some of the answers that we really got to mysteries were kind of lame, especially the biggest stuff, where it's like, what is this supernatural moving island? Like, what is making that happen? What is the smoke monster? And at the end of the day, it's there's a light in the middle of an island, and it's got supernatural prop. Okay, but like what? But what is it though? It's like, well, there's a light. Okay, but what? No. The answer, there's a light though. Okay, like that's all you. That's it. That's all you got? I watched 6 years of the show for the answer is there's a light?
See, that's perfectly fine, because the way I view the show was always like, I take into consideration, I hope I'm right about this, but I think Damon Lindelof is like a kind of a secular person. He's one of those writers who's like fascinated by the idea of faith.
Yes.
I hope I'm right about that. But so like the show is always skirting the line between
why do you think he wrote the
supernatural and science?
Why do you think he made The Leftovers? No, he's obsessed with the idea of faith. Yeah.
Oh, Leftover. Oh man. Actually, I'm going to be honest. Watching The Leftovers made me appreciate the ending of Lost so much more, because I kind of see exactly what he was thinking.
Oh,
I know it doesn't work for a lot of people clearly, but that's one of the big reasons I kind of came to accept it.
And I need to go back and watch through that show. Somebody asked me to review the pilot once, and I liked it, but I haven't watched it.
That was me.
Oh, was that you? All right.
Oh wait, no, sorry. I think I suggested you watch the entire show. Actually, that was a different person.
Okay, yeah, no. Somebody actually did a request for that, but years ago.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. But can you think of any critically lambasted endings that you defend? And you think that everyone else is like crazy for thinking that an ending is bad?
You mean specifically for like the finale of a show?
A final movie or a finale of a show, whatever. Because I feel like most people just kind of agree when endings are bad. And for me, like, I like the ending of Lost, and don't laugh, but I like Halloween Ends. I'm sorry.
No, but a lot of people do. I don't understand that, but you're not alone on that.
Yeah. I was wondering if you have that, because you're not afraid to go against the grain. Like, you're not afraid to positively review the Marvels.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. In fact, I've been thinking about watching that again just to see if after some months like out of the theater, I look at it and I'm like, no, I am crazy. I probably am crazy. It's fine.
It's all right. We're all a little crazy.
I'll call that a guilty pleasure. I don't care. Whatever. I'm trying to think of it because third, looking at like third movies and trilogies. In particular, it seems to be really difficult to stick landings with that stuff, because some of, and of course this brings us back to Dark Knight Rises, but some of the time it's not even you got a B team or you got a new creator that didn't have the same vision or wasn't as adept at storytelling as who came before. Sometimes it's the same person that makes it. So like, X-Men 3, kind of more understandable that went south than something like Spider-Man 3 or like Dark Knight Rises. We're like, it's the same team, it's the same people. And then you go, oh, wait a minute, maybe they're just burnt out, like maybe you get obligatory third entries where it's like, even with a second movie, you're still kind of on cloud nine because that first movie did so well and you've got cool ideas about where you could go next. Sometimes you get that sequelitis thing where that second movie is just the same movie again. But very often, especially if it just makes sense to franchise it, it's like, well, now we can really open up the floodgates and do the story we really wanted to do, like with X2. And then you get to the third movie, and it's like, I don't know, the studio just wants us to make another one. So I guess we
'Cause-
got to do. And like I'm sometimes by the third movie, you're so much of a different person than you were when you made the first. And so I
yeah.
think that's kind of why that happens. So anyway, I'm not really answering your question, but I'm struggling to think of a thing where I really go against the grain. I do have it with a lot of with I shouldn't say a lot. I have a lot of guilty pleasure sequels. You know, things like Matrix
Oh, for
Rebooted,
sure.
where I'm
I
like
like.
I don't know, I still really like that movie. It is ultra messy, but then yeah, Revolution sucks. There's no two ways around that.
hmm I want to respond to some of your points.
Sure, sure.
Often with endings, or final chapters or whatever, it's very, very easy to tell for people like you and me when a final chapter or something is just a phoned in obligatory, or production mess or something. Like, this is completely out of your wheelhouse, but like, Saw 3D, the final chapter. I love Saw, but that was a movie that literally
Sure.
everybody on set hated making. Um, and I think when that kind of stuff happens, or like Blade Trinity, you know, um, that that is like unacceptable to me. Where I often accept it is when a creator actually got to make the thing that they wanted to make. Like, for example, like Halloween Ends, or in my opinion, I think Lost. And I understand it was messy, but I think they made the ending they wanted to make. When I can see that the artist made the ending they wanted to make, even if it doesn't please everyone, I kind of I often come around to appreciating it, even if it doesn't fully work sometimes. Um, that's kind of the way I see it. Like, I kind of look at what they wanted to do, and I'm like, okay, was this like just I don't know. Was this like supposed to come out the way it would? Like, Rise of Skywalker is clearly like just a jumbled reaction of sorts,
Yeah.
that a lot of people disagree with,
There's
like
no vision
making it.
there.
Yeah, exactly. So I tend to accept even messy endings that have a vision. When that happens, I'm a lot more forgiving.
Yeah,
Um,
I can understand that. That makes sense. For me, it's like if it's part of a whole where you have three acts over three movies, I want that last act to feel like it's an honest to God conclusion to what we started with the beginning. And sometimes I with some of the examples we talked about earlier, like a Spider-Man 3 or something, it feels
yes.
more like the creator has changed too much by that point. And even if it's and Spider-Man 3 is not a good example of this because in a lot of ways that's not the movie he probably would have made if he didn't have to
hmm
do Venom and stuff. But very often what happens is, yeah, maybe that's what the guy wants to make now, but is that what he would have made if he'd written them all together?
Exactly. And that movie definitely goes into what I was saying about, it just kind of being obligatory or a mess, or people making it didn't like it. Um,
I am
but
racking
that
my brain hard trying to come up with a good answer
it's
to your question. I can't think of one.
this is why I asked it. This is why I asked it, because I
Yeah.
feel like I don't mean to say that you tend to go with the grain, but I think because watching your content for most of my adult life, I haven't seen an example of that.
Yeah,
So I
I
literally like
can't
wanted to.
readily think of one, with TV or with movies. I feel like
Yeah.
I've had it the other way where I'll
Oh, for sure.
like really I don't know like really dislike an ending that everybody's okay with. I feel like I've had that, but
Absolutely.
you know
Yeah,
you know
and I've got plenty of
I
that.
mentioned Matrix Revolutions earlier, and this isn't like the end of a three act thing, but it is the last one they made. I'm the only person on the planet that likes the decades later Matrix sequel.
Oh, I love the first
I
35 minutes
do
of
like
that
that
movie.
movie
Yeah. Um,
unabashedly, but
yeah, I really wish I liked that movie a lot
it's
more, but
deeply flawed. I don't know why. My wife and I were the only people on the planet that liked that movie. But
yeah,
that's
I
the
love the first
closest
act.
thing I
Love the
can.
first act. But
It's
yeah.
great, but yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. But it doesn't really count.
Hmm. I've met
Yeah,
some people who don't like Toy Story 3, and I'm like, Are you like unhappy?
Well, and there's a lot of people that don't like Toy Story 4, and that is honestly kind of my favorite right now, which is
I like that movie a lot. I
crazy
kind
to
of understand
people.
people just not liking it because it exists.
But that's
But
polarizing before we all came to a consensus on it.
for sure, yeah.
I think you've stumped me on this.
That was the goal.
Well
And I'll just
done.
say, by the way, I like X-Men Last Stand and I like Spider-Man 3. I will not defend them. They're not very good at all.
Sure,
don't
well,
get me
you like
wrong.
what you like, yeah. I mean, again,
Yeah.
that gets to that kind of guilty pleasure place.
Absolutely, yeah. If I've stumped you though, no problem.
No, I can't have it. I can't. It's not okay.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
No, thanks for calling, though, man. This is a great discussion.
Yes, I was literally in the middle of doing my laundry, and I just happened to whip out my phone, and I was like, "Oh, can I get a call in? Like, is he done?" And then you were like, "I'm taking one more call."
Taking one more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end off the stream, or I'm not gonna be able to get up in the morning.
It's understandable. Yeah, I've been watching you since I was 19. I'm 31 now.
Wow, that's so cool.
I just once again want to reiterate. I agree with you, like probably 60% of the time. I still love watching you like every week. It's just one. You've helped me a lot about like kind of thinking critically, like throughout my adult life.
Well, we need more people like you, man, because it's important to be able to disagree on things and still find common ground. These days, a lot of people are just scared to do that and think it's bad to not just all completely agree on everything, and that creates tribalism, and we don't need that. That's bad.
Yeah, discussion is important, and that's not to say I'm middle of the road on a lot of like important topics or anything, but I do think like discussion is important, just in a general sense.
Well, and different perspectives are important.
Absolutely.
Just because we don't agree on something doesn't make your opinion invalid, and I think, or mine, and I think it's important to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and go, well, if I'd lived the life that guy lived, maybe I'd feel like he does.
Yeah, and that feeds into like the kind of entertainment I like to intake, like Lost, for example, is literally just that, like perspective, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
taught me a lot about like.
You and I more or less agree on that show. I still go back to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't care that
everybody's
really
nice.
decided that show basically doesn't exist.
Oh, that sucks. It's literally still like my Breaking Bad topped it, but it's still my second favorite show.
Yeah, well,
personally.
And how can it not though? Because that show actually works beginning, middle to end.
Breaking Bad is like perfect. Like it's just kind of perfect.
It's just,
and that's it.
It's at least nigh perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still amazing the way that it sucked that landing. And then Better Call Saul also sucked that landing.
Oh man, if someone were to tell me they like Better Call Saul more, I wouldn't even really argue. Like it's basically just as good.
I don't, just because I think it's a little long in the tooth. Like I think it's more decompressed than it needs to be. Breaking Bad, I would watch 15 minutes where nothing seemed to be happening, and I'm completely riveted. And Better Call Saul is always good. I was looking at my watch some with that show, and I never
a little bit. It's just a slower show.
I never had
though.
that with Breaking Bad. With Breaking Bad, it's different.
Oh, Breaking Bad is is lean. It's hefty, but it's lean for sure.
Well, it just took them a little bit too long to find their footing with Better Call Saul. Like they were trying too hard in that first season to not be Breaking Bad, and it totally clicks in when they finally go, okay, fine, whatever. I guess it's still kind of that show.
I understand that. Yeah, I think it does get better for sure as it goes along.
Well, yeah, a lot of people feel that way, and it has a.
But I think it's always
season.
Excellent, in my opinion.
But I think it gets better as it goes along.
Yes.
Which is cool because you can't say that about very many shows these days.
No, so it makes Breaking Bad special.
Most everything falls off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, man.
Yeah, same for you. I finally get to speak to you after like many years. Yeah. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, of course. I hope we get to talk again.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. Have a good birthday.
Yeah, have a good night. Good luck with your laundry.
Yeah, I gotta go check on that.
Thanks for the call. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Chewbacca's Lover put in... Okay, I'm going to actually go ahead and shut off Yeah, there we go. The phone number. So, officially done with calls. As much as I would love to do more of that, it is 1:30 a.m. and I'm gonna have to go to bed. I'm starting to have like a nearly out of body experience. Like, what am I doing? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sitting here on a live show. Chewbacca's lover put in a $5 super chat and did a call earlier. Thanks so much, man. I loved Rises in the theater. And see, my thing with that movie, and I know I've talked about this a million times, 5 million times, but I just, on first viewing, couldn't put my finger on it. Whereas, like, something seems kind of off, but overall, I really like this. And I don't know if you guys know this. I've probably mentioned this somewhere before. I actually did, like, a out of the theater review in my car. I brought my camera with me in 2012. This is before you could do these things as readily on a phone. And I shot, like, a 10-minute video. And it was far more positive. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, this isn't working. Sorry, it just looks like my mic is not as hot as it was earlier once again. What is going on with this computer tonight? It's really strange. I don't know. I'm going to see if it dropped down on me again. I don't know why it would do that. It's very odd. It's not a big deal. I'm going to finish up the show here in a minute, but yeah, what is the deal? It dropped all the way down to 14. Why? I don't get that. I don't know why the levels are jumping around like that. Okay, apologies if anybody's had a hard time hearing me tonight. I don't know what caused that. Really weird. Anyway, I love Rises in the theater, says Chewbacca's lover, but you and Eric turned me around on it over the years. The Batmania you did was maybe the final nail in the coffin. Excuse me. I'm sneezing now. Well, I don't want to say that's like a victory or something where like that was our goal, was to make everybody see the light on how terrible that movie is. We're just expressing how we felt about it. No, and I know there's folks that still really enjoy that, and there's definitely stuff to enjoy about that movie. But I also think we had some pretty compelling points. Amalgam Nation, $2 super chat. Thanks, man. Happy 40th, sir. Did you have a great one? Yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful. And again, the word of the night is surreal. It's really strange. You know, it feels like absolutely the start of a new chapter. Like, 40 does feel different. Just straight up. I don't know why. Like, it's an arbitrary number. There is something different between today I'm 39 and then the next day I'm 40. It's like now it's time to finally feel like an adult. I don't know. In some ways it kind of feels that way. But anyway. Oh, when I was going through birthday presents, I almost said Christmas presents. When I was going through birthday presents earlier, I also forgot to mention the shirt I'm wearing right now, which was also a birthday present from my son Jason. So this is my favorite They Might Be Giants album, Apollo 18. And it's also my favorite artwork. Just everything about that album is perfect. And it has a wonderful image of a whale being attacked by an octopus. And I am hoping to eventually get this image as a tattoo. And I think my mic is still acting up. And I say my mic, it's not really my mic. It's just, it's the way my computer is interacting with my mic. This never happens. It's really weird. Okay. Anyway. Tyler Sayas says I sound fine. Well, that's good. It looked real low. Henry, thanks for the live stream. See you later. Thank you, man. Thomas Lowe, so you never really love Rises, Captain Logan. No, I mean, I never loved it, but out of the theater, I was definitely more positive on it. And then I thought about it. And the next day, I was like, no, I have to record a different review. And then that was the one that I ended up not, I ended up dropping later on. Yeah, and that whole thing was weird. I shouldn't have done that. This was a long time ago, though. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish up here. I had a. I wanted to play video games tonight, but the call-in thing worked out great, and I talked to a lot of cool guys and did not want to cut them off and decided not to cut anybody short, so I just went longer. So I hope everybody that wanted to call in got a chance to do that. If you didn't, I will try to do that again. I'm thinking about making that an occasional segment on the Captain Logan Show, although if we do it, we'll probably open the whole second hour to them, because it seems like there's a lot of interest in that. And it seems like a really cool format for us. So if we do it more often, never fear, because there's a good chance that some of you guys will be able to call in, kind of regularly, and we can, it doesn't have to always be new people. And then it'll be fun, because if we talk to a lot of the same people, then when somebody brand new calls, they can say, long-time listener, first-time caller. Which would be a fun thing to get to hear on the channel. That should be like a bucket list item for me, to hear somebody say that, calling in to my show. Guys, I don't want to get too mushy on you. This is really special. This was just the coolest stream. And I had a wonderful birthday weekend all the way around. It's a big deal. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get going. I got to finish this wine. Usually I work out before I go to bed, but it's very late and I've been drinking, so I might have to skip it tonight and work out extra tomorrow. Anyway, I will likely do one or two more streams at some point this week. I can't promise anything because I'm gearing up for a big film shoot for the Superhero Rewind movie this weekend. And I have not spent as much time memorizing dialogue as I need to. So I'm going to have to spend a lot of my time doing that. So maybe a collection stream, maybe some kind of other thing. I just a hangout stream or a blind commentary thing. I don't know yet. I'm gonna play it by ear. And then next week we'll be back to normal, and Austin and I are going to be doing Dark Knight Returns on the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project next week. So look forward to that. It's going to be fun to finally talk about that. Austin says I missed some super chats. Thanks for keeping me on point there, man. I appreciate it. Easy to do that during the call-in thing. Side-scrolling hero. You didn't have to leave another super chat, man. I appreciate that. He was one of our callers, $10 super chat. By the way, Austin, I saw a lot of your comments. I'm sorry that I didn't read them. He was saying some interesting things that I just didn't get to. Sorry to give off the... And by the way, I didn't expect Austin to be watching tonight because I know he's on vacation. And I thought about inviting him to hang out with me tonight on the stream, but I just figured he wouldn't be able to because he was out of town. So if you were available, Austin, and I made that assumption, apologies. I totally could have had you here. Although, I wouldn't have been able to do the call-in thing if I'd done that because I cannot figure out how to set it up where you could also listen to the callers. So never mind. Screw it. You wouldn't have been here anyway. But I missed you, Austin. He says, his high school hero says, sorry to give off the impression I was trying to use you to spread the word of the requested stuff. Thanks again for having me on. No, not at all. I meant that is kind of a positive thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes, I guess in the past, I've felt a little bit irritated about that, where you'll have somebody who is just, it's just about, like, and not you, but sometimes it's just, you have somebody that'll pester you, like, constantly. Like, you've got to talk about this thing. You've got to talk about this thing. And anytime I get that too much, that becomes the last thing I want to look at. That's just a personal thing. But I really appreciated your point on that, side-scrolling hero. Just the idea that if I look at it and actually like it, maybe some other people will take a look at it. No, I totally appreciate that. I don't like being pestered and bombarded too much, but you weren't doing that. That was totally cool. No, I actually really enjoyed the recommendations that people made tonight. Whether they seem like things that I'll like or not, I'm totally open to taking a look at that stuff. And I want to kind of broaden my horizons. And I've talked about a lot of the same kinds of things for a long time. Like, it's time for me to really branch out. The fact that I'm willing to do anime stuff now is a big leap for me from where I was when I started. I'm totally finishing the stream. I just have to read these super chats. Oh, and I forgot the gong. It's super chats, so it's the policy here. It's the official I like series Bible protocol here on Geekvolution. Okay, great, 4.99 super chat. I'm sorry if some of you guys end up like not still being on the stream when I read these. A lot of super chats, a lot of support tonight. Apologies for missing these while I was talking to folks on the phone. Hey Cap, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Fun fact, we share the same birthday. That is 2 viewers tonight that have come out and said that their birthday is August 12th, just like mine. Leos unite, apparently. Been watching you since I was 14. Wow. Thank you for producing quality content all these years. Thank you for watching my content, and I appreciate your calling it quality, and I hope that is true. You guys are going to make me cry. Makira, 4.99 super chat. When I was 13, when you posted Jason as a newborn reviewing comics, oh my God, I remember that. And I have to process for a minute every time he's on stream. It just makes you feel old, right? And now Jason's a regular co-host. He is fully accepted by the audience. I forget how old he is when we're doing streams together. Now he's the regular chat moderator and co-host on the Captain Logan show. And there was a part of me that was a little bit concerned that folks wouldn't accept that. Like, he is on a lot of new movie reviews and occasionally would fill in for DJ on that show, but just DJ deciding not to do that show regularly anymore. And don't worry, he's still going to come on shows, and we'll have him on Captain Logan shows occasionally too, I'm sure. But just the fact that he was leaving and being replaced by a 14-year-old, I was a little concerned that folks would be like, that's not what we want. It's just kind of pointless nepotism. You couldn't find anybody else. And I mean, I could have. I had volunteers even, but I really thought he was right for it and would do a great job. And also I thought it would be a cool, different perspective on stuff, just, younger generation. And that's been the comment I've gotten the most about it, where it's like, oh, there's this whole totally different perspective on news. And he's bringing in other things that we'd never talk about otherwise. So thank you guys for accepting Jason so much. It's been really great for his development. Also, I just wanted to say real quick so that I don't look like an egomaniac, that I was not sure how to process or respond to folks complimenting my parenting earlier, and it means a lot. I really, really appreciate that. It is important to say that, and I guess this is obligatory, that I am not perfect, and that I have absolutely made mistakes as a father, as every parent does. And I don't want to come off like I think I'm perfect, or like I'm trying to put up this facade or veil of I never do anything wrong, look how perfect I am. So I do my best to set a good example, not just on the channel, but everywhere. I try. But you guys, of course, don't see everything. And so it means a lot that you said that. And I'm glad that we've managed to, set that kind of example on the channel, as well as we seem to have. But I also want to say I am not perfect. I have made mistakes, and I'm just trying to be a better person all the time. It's really all we can do. Make sure I didn't miss any other super chats here. Yeah, I think I've got them all except for one that Dan Schneider just put in. Thanks very much. Did I miss a gong earlier? I think I might have. Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. If I had more money, this would be $100. Aw, that. Earlier I said somebody left me the nicest compliment they could have. That might be the nicest thing anybody ever said to me. I gotta get going. Thomas Lowe, I discovered the channel when Cap did the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie rewind. That was a long time ago. That was one of the most fun to write, and I still stand by the whole thing about Ivanu's not being able to land on, does he want to take over the world or destroy it? And then once I said that, I started seeing it everywhere with villains, and it really cracks me up. Austin says, I do think Cap taught me not to talk down to children as I was growing up. It's such an easy trap to fall into, too. And it did impact how I interact with them, whether they're my own siblings or just other kids. Wow. I'm surprised by two things with them. One, just that that had that kind of impact on you, Austin, but also that didn't end up being a joke by the end. Because as I started reading it, coming from you, I really expected that to turn into sarcasm, and then it was completely 100% earnest. I appreciate that compliment. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. You're not making your kids cry for YouTube views. That puts you over most YouTuber parents. It's so wrong. I went down a rabbit hole at one point with the like family channels. These really fake kind of, and there's some really scary ones and some messed up stuff that's happened after some of these channels have even fallen apart, which I'm not going to talk about. But you get these kind of reality show TV type channels, these people that kind of put on this facade, but they also like show their kids everyday lives and stuff that their kids are not comfortable looking at. I just can't even imagine putting a camera on my kids all day long and like trying to force situations for viewers. It's unconscionable. I can't even get my mind around that. One of the reasons you guys haven't seen all of my other kids as much as I was putting Jason on camera when I was younger is I think I at the time was either naive about it or the culture hadn't gotten as messed up and negative as it later did. And I'm not saying that there aren't great channels with parents that do cool things with their kids that are not exploiting them. But at the same time, even if you don't do it intentionally, it can happen accidentally. There are creeps that are looking around for children for malicious reasons, and that's messed up. And if you're not careful, even if you have your heart in the right place and do it with the best of intentions, and people could take advantage of the images of your children and do all kinds of crazy, terrible things with them. And after the COPPA thing, where it even just became like prohibitive, like difficult to post videos with kids and they not get flagged or dropped, I was like, well, I guess it doesn't really make sense to put kids in videos as much anymore. And so I'm glad that Jason is old enough now. I don't have to worry about that with him anymore. But I'll occasionally do like a game stream with Freddie or something. But I'm not doing a lot of extra videos with the kids anymore. Like I used to, do birthday present videos and show you guys all the cool geeky stuff the kids got for their birthdays. I used to do like book reading videos. It was kind of fun to just sit down with one of the kids for 5 minutes and read a storybook, like a geeky storybook to them. And I was kind of just trying to show the geekier side of, getting older and being a parent and all of that. And after a while, I decided, A, with the COPPA thing, I don't even know if I can post this stuff anymore. And B, it might be accidentally exploitative. And I hate for that to happen. So anyway, thanks again for those super chats, guys. Austin, I'll just read this real quick and then I'm going to get going. Austin says, it does make you think about how there is now a generation where you can have homegrown versions of the horrible child star experience that so many have burned out through. Yeah. That, like, you don't even have to be famous for that to happen to you. It's really screwed up. And a lot of us experience some degree of fame now and all of the positive and negative things that come with that. It's just a part of everyday life in a social networking world. Okay, it would be really easy to go all night, but I'm not going to do that. I have to get up in the morning. I'm going to get going, but I appreciate you guys. Once again, this was just a spectacular stream, and I'm really, really glad that I did it. I'll see you real soon. I was Captain Logan. Have a wonderful night. Have a great week. Be safe. And I hope to see you on a stream real soon. Good night, guys.